here, ladies and gentlemen, where we have something that is completely illustrative of what we're really dealing with, an attempt to stifle free and open thought, an attempt to bring in a new dark age. University bans dorm room whiteboards to stop hurtful words. Yes, this is out of the Detroit News. In a statement, the Detroit News, they went on to explain why they're banning, basically, chalkboards. The open slate, the written word, the very basis of civilization is hurtful, and so it must be destroyed. This is book burning to the par excellence next level. They're burning the language, they're burning cultures, they're burning the family and normal mammal interaction. This is a scientific plan to wreck humanity as we know it. While the Zuckerbergs and J.K. Rowlings of the world have moved to Kauai and Tasmania. Almost every elite family has moved their children to Kauai or to Tasmania or to rural areas of New Zealand, where they are now reinstating 1930s, 1940s style lifestyle. The children run around barefooted. I know people that know them, and it's also in the news. There's no computers, no TV. They listen to radio and they read books. And they have hired people there in many areas with little schoolhouses. Of course, I'm talking about not just Rowling. She doesn't have any kids last time I checked. I'm talking about Zuckerberg and others. This is all admitted. You can look it up, but she has run to Tasmania. So they have put out a super weaponized system. These aren't liberals. Apple runs suicide factories in China publicly with suicide nets. Forced drugging, forced abortion. They're building a beautiful spaceship college here and corporate headquarters to look like they're the future and they're the answer and the best minds come here and you need to be with us, be in the spaceship. Meanwhile, the spaceship has big bloody tentacles into giant death camp style facilities. And they don't say a word at Apple about the Buddhist caught teaching in their homes or even practicing yoga, being taken for blood type, DNA typing, and harvesting. But it's okay because they're liberal. And they've come out and they've announced that they want to ban anyone that supports Trump and the alt-right. And every day there are scores of articles just admitting all of this from pillar to post. Huge announcements that they're, do more, Zuckerberg, to shut down the libertarians, the right wing, the nationalists, the communist Chinese weighed in. In fact, if you guys can print me all these, I forgot to tell you, or we should just create a folder where, PC world, thank God the communist Chinese are developed systems to stop nationalists and right wingers. Man, they're really cool. Well, maybe someday I can grow up and be like them, Mom. Wall Street Journal, New York Times, PC World. They're the model. What's that tell you? Now, there it is. What happens when a country cracks down on fake news? That's China. Because China's feeling pretty good about themselves right now. Yeah, they've been proven right. Their whole system's great. I just asked Hollywood they're buying up. You watch a Hollywood movie now, you learn about how cool the Central Committee is of the People's Republic of China. In almost every new movie, they're the heroes that save America and take out Trump. It's Wednesday, 2/2/2. The year is 2017, and we are seeing open, massive censorship. They are banning nationalist statements. In Europe, they are banning mild criticism of Islam. They are ordering the police departments in France and in Germany and in Sweden and in the Netherlands, this is in their own news, to ban the reporting of any Muslims or migrants raping or robbing. There have been fires now all week long, basically, in cities of Sweden and rioting and raping that has just spilled out in an orgy of deliciousness for the Islamicists and their dodo bird prey. Germany has ongoing fires and riots. And, of course, France is just besieged with multiple infernos going off just in the center of Paris every night. Tourism is down, 50% in just the last couple of years, 80% in the last decade. They've declared civil emergencies on France's highways for 2 years. There are just giant hordes of people just randomly running around in the rural areas, just dragging families out of their vehicles. I watched a video that Paul Watson put out that's about 12 minutes long, titled The Truth About Sweden, and I had remembered hearing about these cases, and he just showed quick clips off the news, and I thought, I remember those videos, but I tend to not go watch them because it makes me too upset. But I said this morning at about 6 a.m., when I got out of bed before my kids had woken up, I said, I'm going to go pull those up and I'm going to watch them. And I pulled up the sanitized rapes in Sweden. And it is unbelievable. I mean, you're talking about at an anti-racism open border concert where the leftists come and invite the Muslim men in from collapsed areas of the Middle East and Morocco, you name it. And you will see 10, 15 men grab a woman, hold her, and then they go in and start raping her. And you can see the women flailing like they've got, just a ton of bricks on them. I mean, you can see the pressure. You can see the panic. You can see that, what's the term when you don't like closed spaces? Claustrophobia. And it makes me feel claustrophobic. I'm not really claustrophobic, but I don't like really closed spaces and too much. And it's just the imagining these men, and we're not showing you any of the graphic stuff. It's online. I mean, they rape her, and you could tell it's hurting her, and you can just see shots of her face where she looks so panicked. And she's, again, one of these Swedes going out there to be liberal and invite everybody, and they say, yes, ma'am, we are ready. And, I mean, it's big guys, too. I mean, they got her held down. They're right there. You can hear the audio. People are celebrating while the music plays, and they are raping. There's more graphic footage online. We're showing family-friendly here. And I don't like having to show this to TV viewers, folks, but I found stuff where they rape a woman for 12 hours. And in Sweden, the police went after people that reported it and called them animals. In fact, they're talking about indicting Wilders again. He's in the lead to be the new leader of the Netherlands, the new prime minister. And all he has said is that they're facing extinction of the Dutch people, and that they're bringing the worst dregs of the Middle East in, and that many of these people, behave like monsters and animals. And they've already indicted him once for that. He said it again yesterday, and they're talking about indicting him yet again. So these women come to these events with flowers to worship the Islamicists because they've been told in their white guilt this is what you're supposed to do, and they get gang raped. So again, viewer discretion is not really advised. They want to put out the idea that Trump wants to hurt women and that the West wants to hurt women. There's this rape culture in the West, which there isn't. Rape culture's in the Middle East and Africa, folks. Let's just say where it is. Where women in most countries in Africa are lower than dogs. Same thing in the Middle East. And then I have to see feminists in Germany and Sweden out chanting Allah Akbar, saying open up the borders. Leftists in Germany want to give refugees the vote. Economists suggest move would trigger internal civil war. But see, we're not supposed to show you just the woman's face as she flails and begs, and as they raped her and raped her and raped her, and the police never came. In Germany, if you even talk about it, they suspend your Facebook account. And we're not supposed to show you how they openly have a hatred of the West. That's the globalists that are manipulating this, and they are directing all of this into our countries and into our world. Leaked report, 6 million migrants want to enter Europe on top of what's already in. Third world immigration time bomb on verge of exploding. Terror in Sweden, chemical attack on train, chokes passengers. But all that's okay. Because we have to be taught to be open to every culture, including if it has criminal actions involved, like genital mutilation of women, killing women if they talk back, not letting women drive cars. That's all something we should bring in right away. But Donald Trump comes out and he said, you saw what happened last night in Sweden. And that's because it had been on InfoWars, and that is news he got from there, and had been on Breitbart, that there had been more rapes in Sweden, more mass rapes and more attacks. And then the night after he said it, and they make a joke out of it, there's huge attacks. And then the next night and the next night. But the media just has Colbert and everybody make jokes and says, what happened last night in Sweden? We didn't know about this. This is playing on their audience as if you're total idiots. Let me show you drudgereport.com right now. Right in the middle of the column, it says, Homeland does Alex Jones. Now, we were contacted by people inside Homeland 2 months ago, and they said, it's horrible. The whole new series is based on you. You commit horrible crimes. You blame other people. You know, you're an Islamophobe. It's never the Muslims doing it. This brain-damaged CIA guy thinks you're awesome. But, you know, his former partner knows he's mentally ill. And, of course, there's a female president. They wrote all this when they thought Hillary was going to win. They wrote all this when she was supposed to be the president, and I'm this horrible guy who's against her. And the actor goes in between an Australian, a British, and my accent, a Texas accent, a blown-out Texas accent. That's what I got here. And then they had a bunch of articles coming out saying Jones is crazy. He thinks he's important. He thinks they have TV shows about him. He's schizophrenic or he's narcissistic. I mean, it's clearly me. It looks like my old studio. His name's O'Keefe. So they want some subliminal demonization of James O'Keefe as well. When they ran trailers for this 3 weeks ago, I got calls saying, why are you on Homeland? Why have you sold out? I've never watched Homeland. I mean, Chris Carter came out, you know, a year ago and said the new X-Files doesn't just have a character based on Alex, and it's the almost exact studio we have here, but, because it's high budget, but I think Alex Jones is a good guy and a libertarian and means well and is not racist, and a lot of the themes we cover, like forced inoculation and things like that, come from Alex Jones, and I think he's good. And so the character, I couldn't believe it, was pretty positive. Now, Chris Carter's got a lot of power, and he's wealthy, and he's successful, so he's able to get what he wants on air a little bit. The media tried to claim I made that up and that the X-File wasn't about me. Now, again, I don't need validation by the X-File new season and the next season coming out. That was a pilot season being based, let's say, 60% around Alex Jones. I mean, that's what Chris Carter said. We already have a giant audience. We're already having a giant effect. It means nothing to have Raw Story write some article and imply we're making this up because they have a tiny audience. We're only covering it so you can see the deception of MSM and how they lie and how they manipulate. When clearly, if you watch it and listen to it, I mean, he says, you want to fight? You better believe you got one. I'm coming after you. It's one of my taglines that I organically said like 10 years ago that people like, so I say it all the time now. But this stuff didn't come out of some Hollywood writer's office. This came out of my guts, out of my soul, out of my heart, and then enters the big story. I'm skipping this break. We're going to be live today for 13 hours until midnight Central. AdRoll is a big private company that works with Google. That's the company they make you pair with to have placed ads so that when your audience comes to your site, when you go to other sites, you see the ads. And it was very successful for us and was pretty much our extra profit last year to help fund expansion this year. And one of our writers miswrote AdBlade. AdBlade places ads on your site. This places your ads on other sites. AdBlade, we've used them many years. AdBlade's done a great job for us. We actually use AdBlade off and on for some of the ads you see on the site when we take third-party advertising. So it was not AdBlade, it's AdRoll. So I apologize that for like 2 minutes we put the wrong link up. The reason they're having issues is their name is so close, AdBlade to AdRoll. It's AdRoll that tells us, well, you've been judged to be fake news. We won't say by who. In a letter, and you're involved in politics, and that's not allowed. You know, our ads weren't political, but I mean, they're going to ban political ads. They accept political ads, but our ads weren't political. Water filters, non-GMO seeds, nutraceuticals, stuff like that. They said your almost 3-year relationship with us that brought in close to $6 million, $3.3 million last year. It was set to go even bigger this year. One of the big chunks of where we're able to pay our bills around here Yeah, not profit for the company, money we brought in to fund things. That's just gone. Boom. They told us all political content should focus on the merits of the candidate, and political messages should not target specific interest groups. Now, what's happening is they're being threatened by the rogues in the government that never left, that Trump can't kick out. There's a total mutiny. That have been saying, they said this year they were going to ban our speech. Hillary did. She said we're going to use the Federal Elections Commission on Alex Jones and everybody else, and her surrogates said that. And they said we're going to go out and claim Matt Drudge and Alex Jones and Breitbart are all political because they have a political view that's pro-America, lower taxes, and that's under federal regulations as political speech, and we're going to have the Board of Governors of the Federal Elections Commission go after them. Matt Drudge was told that a year and a half ago by a major Supreme Court justice on record. I saw Hillary announce it 6 months ago, and we covered it. And you've seen the New York Times 6 times I know of. 2 of the pieces featured articles on me admitting we reach billions of people every year and that we're super dominant and that basically we're fake news and need to be shut down. And then we start getting shut down the day after the New York Times comes out when the presidential candidate announces she wants to go after us and the New York Times says we got to shut down fake news, the same author, and all of it, they have Raw Story come out and say, oh, Alex thinks there's a TV show attacking him. Isn't he funny? No one listens to that silly little crazy man. That's meant to make me think I'm not successful. You think that, but that doesn't work on me. But they think it works on you. They want to marginalize me and shut me up and cut off our funding so they can shut you up and everybody else next. Just like they're trying to shut up Trump's family, threatening him, attacking Barron, saying kill his wife, kill his daughters, kill his sons, lying about him, shutting off her clothing line, trying to bankrupt his properties, his businesses, going after his employees, firing teachers that say they support him, firing professors that support him. They're a bunch of disgusting bullies. And again, they think they control reality. Oh, Alex thinks people are talking about him. Alex thinks he's successful. Well, we at Raw Story and a bunch of other publications, we say, you're crazy. And you think, well, thinking people will see right through this. Well, they're not talking to thinking people. If you look at Raw Story's demographics, it's college students and old liberals. And look at this, university bans dorm room whiteboards to stop hurtful words. This is, again, book burning 2.0. They said, well, people would write things in the class hurtful, so any form of public display, kind of like they're banning chalk writing on the street, or that is now banned because you might have a free thought and it might hurt someone. Everyone must be on a computer and controlled and tracked, and nothing can be seen in a big group because it might upset someone. This is beyond any cult I've ever heard of. This is like Skinnerian, studies where, he raised kids inside boxes till they were 10 years old and turned them into disconnected mental patients. But it was just psychological testing, so it was okay to wire electrodes into their bloody mouths while he did it. He just like to torture kids in boxes. But it's okay because we're taking the whiteboards away and the blackboards because those might have a racial connotation, and brown bags are illegal. Oh, can't have those in Seattle in the government building because it's everywhere. But Islam, let's bring in the most radical form of it and have it mutilate the women and rape everybody. Because it's liberal. Because Islam doesn't have a rape culture. America does. Now, continuing here, university bans dorm room whiteboards to stop hurtful words. And that's being reported by the Detroit News with a straight face. Oh, yes, we can't allow open expression. It might hurt someone's feelings. See, first they can't allow dodgeball. Then they can't allow tag. Then they can't allow getting trophies. Then they can't allow jogging. Then they have to get rid of the sports. Then they have to get rid of the term mommy and daddy. Then they have to get rid of the genders because we're being destroyed as a species. And you've got corporate collaborators that'll go along with this. I want to air some of these Homeland clips. Let's air the newest one. And then let's air the earlier one from the trailer where they don't even show the great evil Alex Jones. But while they do it, they show the name O'Keefe on the desk. So this is perfect composite. Just like, they've got a couple movies out in the last few years where child molesters and murderers are named Alex Jones. It's direct subliminal. But here, it's O'Keefe, one of the other stalwart journalists fighting for liberty, who's got big inside scoops inside CNN about to come out, or a major news agency, with just months inside their newsrooms as they lie, as they manipulate, as they frame, as they scheme. See, that's why they want to shut off the internet, because they can't defeat us. I mean, O'Keefe has some videos with 60 million views. The average one has like 5 million. That's bigger than CNN every day. What are they going to do? They want us banned because they say you don't have a right to hear from us. But before they ban us, before they cut off our advertising, takes tens of millions of dollars to run this operation every year. We figure out how to use a platform with Google to bring in $3.3 million. That's gross. Then, let's say a couple million in profit to fund the company. And then they just take that away, all the extra money we had budgeted this year. And we have that money for expansion this year. But then we have nothing for next year, so then we can't expand this year. See how that works? And we know they're going to shut more of what we do down if this is successful. So I've got to go get lawyers, I guess. I guess I've got to look into lawsuits because it's discriminatory. If you can sue people and win and have the police write you tickets because you won't make a gay couple a cake, then if you go to a company that you've been with for years and they say, sorry, we say you're fake news, somebody told us, you're banned now because of your thoughts and your beliefs, that's totally discriminatory. And if they organize it with other groups and that fake Washington Post list they had to retract, now it's racketeering, getting together and organizing to not let me have access to the market. Oh, hey, Apple's a private company, but can I go to the mall? And they say, sorry, you're a white male, you're not welcome in Apple. That's pretty much where it's going. And it's a little beta white male telling you that, that's the whole parallel universe here. And you say, that's discriminatory. You're going to win a lawsuit, folks. They're not giving you access to the market. But I can't go to AdRoll, not AdBlade. People get them confused. AdRoll, AdRoll, AdRoll. And I can be with them for almost 3 years, and then they just decide, because the media and the government and all these groups say it's time to ban Alex Jones, it's time to ban Milo, it's time to block his book. They got an excuse for everybody. Everybody's dehumanized. Everybody, has some reason to have their basic rights taken away. Federal Elections Commission, we say Drudge is political. Shut him down. Don't let him have links to news stories. Well, where's the First Amendment? They're doing it. It's here. It's happening. So AdRoll wants to do this and tell us it's because somebody told them we were fake news. Then meanwhile, I get to have the New York Times, the Washington Post, and every other publication you can imagine every week now, sometimes multiple times a day, saying untruths, twisted, disinfo, you name it. Total lies, you name it. And then I have them trying to shut me off radio, off cable, off TV, off the internet, off of advertising platforms, and we know we're under scrutiny, so we have the most milquetoast ads make no claims, not with water filters, not with supplements, not with, even though we can make claims with many of these because they're nutraceuticals. Many of these are being turned into drugs, things like BioPQQ. We popularized iodine. Now it's in stores everywhere, the crappy versions. But they know what we're doing, and they want to shut us up. And now they have people who they try to have sound just like me and say the exact words I say out of context to then demonize us further. And then they say, no, that's not you. You're crazy, because they believe they control reality because they're a cult of control freaks. This is psychological warfare. So let's play the clips of things I've said, and then they steal my identity, my voice, try to attack me, and then say they didn't do it. Just like Obamacare is free and you can keep your doctor. And then the Gruber gets up on TV and goes, thank God Alex Jones is such a dumb F, or thank God you're a dumb F, or thank God we all are, right? Because that's what they're saying. I had a Freudian slip there. That's what it is. They're saying I'm dumb, you're dumb, we're all dumb because Obamacare is free. And then Gruber goes on TV and says, thank God we're all so stupid. Well, we're not all that stupid. You're just a bunch of con artists that think we're idiots, and we're awake now, and we know what you are, scumbags. Now, I want to be clear, okay? This broadcast is not about Alex Jones. Our job is not to be gonzo journalists here, but to defend media institutions and outlets that have histories of telling the truth, like James O'Keefe and Project Veritas and Matt Drudge of DrudgeReport.com and WorldNet Daily and Breitbart and Daily Caller and a few of the Fox News hosts. Limbaugh's not perfect, Hannity's not perfect, but they're light years better than the globalists. They're at least not out to get the country. They're at least nationalists, okay? which, again, they're light years better. We're all under attack, okay? And one thing as individualists we don't have is the ability that collectivists do to get together on things. They're a bunch of like 1 foot tall, spiritually, snot-nosed, cowardly wannabe bullies. And we just kind of kick the gremlins off as we go about our daily business. But when you start getting piled on by hundreds of them, they can really do some damage. And that's why when I saw Rush Limbaugh 6 years ago when they were about to cancel a show for a long time, almost a year, they'd driven down the revenue on the show, driven down the price of the ads by 50%. And I'm a good opportunist. I mean, if I can be opportunistic and actually help somebody, that's a win-win. I mean, I love zero-sum games. And so I went and spent $250,000 on the Rush Limbaugh show, and we made some decent money back and put it back into the operation. It wasn't huge. Advertising my films. And I did it because I wanted to send a signal that I was classy, but that I also had common sense. And if they could bring down Rush Limbaugh, they could then target and bully and bring down everybody. It's 101 common sense. Hang together or hang separate, as Benjamin Franklin said. And there is no one under more attack other than Donald Trump. It's official now. For a year running, there is no one under more attack than Donald Trump except for me. All right? Donald Trump is obviously under 20 times the attack I'm under. It's global. It's huge. But the only other person under more attack than myself is Donald Trump. And that's a fact. And I'm not up here on a high horse saying that. It's very daunting, quite frankly, just to know there's that much scum and that many collaborators and that many evil people and mercenaries politically in this country. That I am the second most attacked person in the world now. It's finally dawned on me when there are, on an average day, 50 major newspapers lying about me and calling for me to be shut down and saying I'm trying to cause a violent revolution and that I'm a criminal and I'm a terrorist. Some days they're over 1,000. I don't even pay attention now. Reportedly, it's ABC, CBS, NBC, even Fox attacks me. It's just everywhere. And it's lies. It's edited tapes. It's things out of context. You know what they're doing. And why are they doing that? They know the form of Americana that I'm promoting is the truth. And they know it is medicine to a dying body. They know that it's the antithesis of the globalist New World Order control system. And they're scared of it. They're scared of you. And that, again, is not some patronizing, oh, make you feel like you're part of it. They're really scared of you, audience. No, you are 100% of the force of InfoWars. We're only a focal point, a rallying point, a particle beam laser, atomic powered, aimed at the globalist. All of our energies, all of our prayers, all of our focus, all of our action. As a symbol, InfoWars is now a rallying cry, just like the name Trump is, against the New World Order. And they know that. And Drudge is a rallying cry for a free and open press. And so you've got Trump, InfoWars, and Drudge. Drudge has been smart and has just been about the info, knowing he's already been under a greater attack than I've been over time. So over time, Drudge has been under a lot more attack. So he had a strategy, obviously, of just making it about the info, being mysterious for his own protection, and it's really worked. And he's been through a lot, obviously, but he's on top. I mean, it's legendary. So Drudge came a long time ago. I was a slow grower, now just exploding, just like hydrogen bombs inside the globalist system. And then Trump is just like boom on the scene the last 2 years, just giant explosion. And that's why they're trying to demonize and manipulate and take down all three. But if you notice, they're particularly wanting to get Alex Jones, because if they can boycott us and get people to shut us down and go in with racketeering and manipulate and threaten groups, try to cut off our funding, it will be used as a template, as Media Matters and David Brock admits, to shut down all other free press in this country, including the left. that they have bullied and taken control of and turned into this monstrous thing it is today. And the left had problems before, but I wasn't sure who was worse, mainline conservatives or left, 10 years ago. Boy, we see how the cancer grew. We see in what tissue, in what soil this monster came. So that's why I'm telling everybody that when they have not just Homeland, but other TV shows demonizing yours truly, and they create fictional characters that are straw men, saying the things I say word for word, but then having it in the episode where I get innocent Muslims arrested and I'm actually the person that gets people blown up. That's what they say, that the folks that watch the episode. And you know what? I'm going to reach out to our contact inside. You're attacking me. You plagiarized me. I never even got back with the people inside that wanted to give me all the scripts and stuff. Like I got the Machete script, and then Rodriguez said it wasn't real, and it was word for word the script. I'm going to get the future scripts. I'm going to get all of them. Try to send a cease and desist. You're attacking me. You're plagiarizing my words to then create situational ethics where I'm always a villain and cause calamities to promote this idea that I should be shut down in the real world. You are the ultimate fake news. Not only has CNN been caught giving Hillary the questions and fixing things and manipulating and colluding and lying and the other big networks, you now, in the globalist combine, from HBO to Showtime to you name it, create these straw men reports about yours truly, or create whole actors out of whole cloth to then do bad things that you then want to have projected onto us and accepted by the public. I mean, it's incredible. And then you claim I'm the fake news. My name is Alexander Emmerich Jones. I was born in Dallas, Texas in 1974. My mama and my daddy are who I say they were. Everything I've ever done has been in front of God, country, and the rest of the world with my butt hanging out. I'm just naked in front of the whole world. Everybody knows it. I'm genuine. I'm real. When I act like a jerk and blow up, it's real. That wasn't an act yesterday. I mean, at a certain point, I get into fighting mode. At a certain point, all the niceties go away. And the fact that our country has fallen so far that they would call for us to be banned and shut down and to have our finance sources cut off in the most discriminatory, dangerous way you could imagine, and then it would just be done. And I knew yesterday when I covered this and talked about this with AdRoll, not AdBlade, that's a good advertising company, but AdRoll, that there wouldn't be anything in the newspaper today. And you know why? Anything big like this that isn't a strategy given to the operatives, and then they run with that strategy for a day, a week, a month, then they get a new strategy, and then that comes out. They're having to go back and say, hey, we had a big score, we had a big hit, but this will look really bad if we admit we're going in and getting ad agencies to not let people advertise with them anymore. There's a lot of lawsuits. The Washington Post 2 months ago had to pull their list of fake news because of lawsuits. What are we going to do? We just hit a big score behind the scenes, but Jones is going to sue in discovery and find out what we did. Well, then don't report on it because we don't want to be connected to it. See, because that's the racketeering. It's when they're all organized behind the scenes, not letting you in the mall, in the Apple store, in the cafe because you're black, or to the front of the bus because you're black. Same thing. Oh, you're a conservative. We put you on a list beyond Nazi Germany with the yellow stars. That's what they first told the Jews and others. You can't have businesses in this area of town. Then you can't have businesses, period. This is how they shut you down and put you in your electronic ghettos. And what did Matt Drudge say here 16 months ago in the air? In his one interview in the last 4 years. He said, they're putting us into electronic ghettos where they can fully control us and then shut us down when they want. We've got to build our own platforms and fight with those. That's true net neutrality. Isn't even so much how the data goes over the telecoms. That's part of it. But that these big systems have gobbled it all up and gotten control of the whole thing, and then they themselves filter it and manipulate it through false advertising. So what I'm talking about here isn't just InfoWars. It's that we represent you, you represent us. If they can take Donald Trump down, if they can take Matt Drudge down, if they can take Alex Jones down, they can take everybody down. And Trump is trying to cut your taxes, trying to cut the regulations, trying to get big mega banks under his orders. They were given all that free money, taxpayer money, to loan it back to small businesses that generate 80% of the jobs. And the Federal Reserve is challenging him. Right now, there's a big fight. They were already supposed to be gone. He's supposed to have his new people. They're even trying to block that. There are epic battles going on right now, and small business numbers the last 2 months are the highest since 1984, despite the big banks doing everything they can to try to suppress things, and Trump hasn't gotten 1/10 of his financial agenda through, which is meant to break the collectivist and this plan to make us all poor and have monopolies they control and internet they control, where Zuckerberg and Schmidt and all of them were caught in the WikiLeaks with Hillary, with the White House, with Soros, daily changing what you could see in the search results about Hillary. Good things about Hillary, bad things about Trump. Yeah, we've had the best numbers since 1984. And it goes on and on and on. And so we're in a race. And so here it is. I don't want to sit up here. Everybody wants to call in and thank me. Do not thank me. But love it or hate it, InfoWars, yours truly, in this war, in this day and age, in this historical time, there's only a few big dogs in the arena, okay? And all of those people are under systemic, constant mega attack. So know this. People want me to sue, takes money. People want me to keep expanding or stay the size we are under all this attack. See, we can't just stay the same size. We're always under attack. I know we got to get even bigger to be able to defeat them in the future. And I can see this into the future. I understand this. I said this 10 years ago. I said, the media always attacks me and says I do this for money. They always attack and try to destroy my family. I said, that's it. I'm going to explode in size and not just reach 5 million people a week. I'm going to reach 20 million. We did it as of about 4 years ago. Then I said, I'm going to go to the next level. I made that announcement on air. I said, we're going to go to 50 million a week. We now basically have reached that. Remember 2 years ago, I played that promo for a year? We now take the info war to the next level. Why do you think they're coming after us, folks? Next level is their total annihilation. Next level is their cultural destruction. They're trying to ban whiteboards, folks, and free speech, modern book burning, because you can't be allowed in front of a group to share a thought. We're being inducted into a giant brainwashing cult. Humanity's struggling back. And InfoWars is the epicenter. You are the epicenter that has already sent shockwaves through and was the key demographic to push Trump over the verge and over the edge. But now the enemy's not as arrogant as they were. They had measured the drapes. They had TV shows already produced and already set up where Hillary's the president and I'm attacking her. Those are 7-8 month old scripts now. It got produced months ago, only just now came out on Homeland. There's another book that Chelsea had published that was meant for her mom to be president. Chelsea would run the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation worldwide and set up global government. That's all blown up now. So here's the great successes we've had. And now these rats that stole the money from, Haiti and everything else, they think they own you and your family, and they think we're beaten, and they think they're just going to sit there and start shutting off the internet in classic racketeering and taking whole classes and groups of people and dehumanizing them and saying, you don't exist, you don't have access to Twitter or Facebook or Google, you don't have access to the international ad networks, you don't have access and rights to your own domain names, because we said, outside of a court, pulled it out of our gross globalist rear ends, we say you are fake. No, we're game-changing. We're world-changing. We are the David versus the Goliath. We are the people. We are the sleeping giant that will bring down your filthy giant. And you know it. So, we're going for 13 hours today. Again, sounds like a lot of money losing. We made $3.3 million last year in that program to fund our operation. Not profit, money to fund the operation. Out of the advertising money we spend. Very successful ad program, I can tell you. It was set to be around 5 this year. That's budgeted out for our operations, you understand? And I told everybody, I want to raise millions right now so I can show people the numbers and say, now I don't have to pollute the show with too many ads and all the rest of this stuff. I can focus on the news and changing the world and show them every time you attack us, we're going to come back, skip the network break. Won't even be a show soon if this keeps happening. And that we're going to sit there and absolutely hammer you no matter what you do. Our audience and our listeners are going to understand that. And they're going to go to InfoWarsStore.com. They're going to go to InfoWarsLife.com, and they're going to buy the products they need, but to also support the First Amendment. I'd also ask folks last night, because listeners had a good point. Why don't we have a donate button on the site? Doesn't have to be fancy. Call Tim in here. Call Buckley. I just want that. I can have it. I know we're big enough to have that. And I just want to get that posted on there for folks that want to donate on the front page of InfoWarsStore.com or InfoWars Show. InfoWars.com/show. And listen, send that video link out and the audio links out to your friends, your family, your neighbors, and say 13-hour emergency broadcast, the internet crackdown on conservatives and Trump supporters and America firsters and nationalists has begun. It is on screen. Great job. I know I told them it wasn't up this morning. And again, they're overworked. We got a small crew here. Just bandwidth, ladies and gentlemen, cost us, I was checking, it's something like $8 million a year or something. I mean, folks, you have to understand, when you really are reaching on your own streams 10 million people a week at Infowars.com video and more than 15 million a week, because millions a day download the podcast, and you're paying for that bandwidth, even though it's the cheapest out there, and I mean, we have to have our own platform, like Drudge said. We have to have our own systems. We have to have our own program, because they'll be able to just to kick us off these third-party behemoths. But we use the big third-party behemoths to reach the public, knowing they were moving towards shutting it down, but fighting on those behemoths to try to keep them honest and not let them go in that direction. But the Democratic Party, the globalists, the big banks, Goldman Sachs, all of them, openly on November 9th, said, you will kick Alex Jones, and you will kick Breitbart, and you will kick them all off. The problem is they can't kick Drudge off because he's got his own web page. He's not on, Facebook and all these places. He's got outposts on Twitter, but he's the last kind of guy to stand because he has his own system. But they kicked Breitbart off. They took their advertising away. They kicked him off their free apps they've had for years that people contacted them through. And they're so busy with Bannon fighting to get the agenda through to cut your taxes and defeat the globalists that I'm told, and I don't like hearing this, that Breitbart's losing a lot of money and in trouble. And it's because they're under attack, ladies and gentlemen, and they sit there all conservative and stalwart while they're being burned to the ground. We're just going to stay at the ship, keep attacking, get them their tax cuts. Well, cannonballs are coming in. I'm not going to sit there and do that. We're in a war. You understand that? A total war. If I told you the other things I know, the things that are going on, but I can't. If I told you, it's a James Bond movie, but it's worse than that, okay? If these big companies have suicide net factories, and that's what they think, what do you think they think about you, what they'd like to do to you as an American? These are the most selfish scumbag people you can imagine, Zuckerberg and Schmidt and all of them. They want to break you and your family. They want full will and control over you. And that means destroying the American dream and totally consolidating power and banning families and banning language and banning chalkboards because you might be able to communicate on it in an old tech way in front of people. They're against the language, they're against culture, they're against men and women together. It is a fundamental scientific evil attack. And anyone out there listening that serves mainstream media, New York Times, any of you can see this is being done by a bunch of fake liberal globalists that are the opposite of liberal, that are totally cold-blooded and wicked beyond imagination. They're attacking us everywhere because they want to bully you into thinking, if you listen to Alex Jones and believe what he believes and adopt this, you're going to be attacked. The truth is, if you listen to this and take action, we're going to have victory and defeat the globalist. So, we're expanding in the face of all of this. And I know Providence is going to come through, and we're going to do it. So, let's put the P.O. box up on screen, too. If people want to send us a check, just a flat-out donation to fund this operation, to be strong in the face of the enemy. We're going to launch a legal fund for the lawsuits. It's got to happen. I was already setting up the free speech site 2 months ago and getting ready to, the whole coalition we're setting up, all the rest of it. In Defense of Liberty, sale fundraiser. Infowars.com/show. Infowars.com. Infowarsstore.com. It's very easy. You can call toll-free 888-253-3139. That's 888-253-3139. And we have got thousands of the very best items out there. I love how the New York Times was laughing at me over the phone that I sell water filters. Like, that's weird. You go in any nice restaurant, the water's filtered. You go in any rich person's house, the water's filtered, a middle-class person. It's like this weird cult thing that we're leftists. We drink the glyphosate and the lead and the mercury and the and the fuel additives and all the rest of the crap. And, we watched half the kids on the street with cancer and think it's great. Bunch of crap. We sell the best water filters. And if you get a 3-month supply of high-quality food today, we're offering a free Alexa Pure water filtration. That's a $200+ discount already on super high-quality storable food. And there's a bunch of other specials. So you can get a great deal, get something you need, and get a discount, win-win-win, and fund the tip of the spear in the fight. I know you've been helping us for years and supporting us, and I want to thank you all. But listen, quite frankly, this won't be the only hit, and we all know it, and we need to be here promoting free speech and exposing how by stealth they want to be able to come in and take over the internet and then sit there and kick us off Google ad roll and shut us down and try to tell us we don't have access when that's 1,000 times worse than not baking a cake for a gay couple. And I'd bake their cake. The point is that if you're saying a business open to the public can't make a decision to not bake somebody's cake, but you're telling me that because InfoWars is bad, you can't advertise absolutely approved high-quality products. It's a load of bull, and it's how they want to get away with discrimination and bullying. And I guarantee you, AdRoll got bullied into doing this as well. So the Victory Series, #1, President Donald J. Trump, Tennessee Arms, 80% completed lowers. These are a hobby. You do it yourself, and it's totally legal. Read the ATF letter. There's a few laws in places like California where you got to serial number it yourself. But the point is, these are drop shipped from Tennessee. They're laser etched, 1 of 1,000. These are going to sell out in just the next few days. I knew people would want them with Donald J. Trump 1776 Reborn, limited edition. We have one more run of a new chocolate sepia color of Ronald Reagan. Well, that's classic black. The one with Trump is the chocolate on the parchment paper, and then that's it. It's a whole new series of collectors, but that's it for even this series using the original drawings. So Victory 1 series, we need your support now more than ever. Also, Caveman, the ultimate new paleo formulation by InfoWars Life, out of the gates is 33% off. It's available at InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. And it's got the bone broth, the turmeric, and so much more. This is beyond whey. Whey's great as well. You mix whey and whatever you want. This is beyond protein powders. This is next level. The essence, obviously, everybody knows, is in those bones. It's all in there. Caveman, True Paleo Formula, InfoWars, Life.com or 888-253-3139. And send these people a message that their open calls to censor us and everybody else won't be put up with. The American people will promote free speech, stand up against this, but also support the very tip of the spear in the fight. Now, I've got tons, massive amounts of news, special guests and more. The first hour of the 13-hour broadcast is over. Spread the link. You don't have to donate. Spread the link. Infowars.com/show.
CNLive.com today.
Let's make that feed go viral. Let's go live on Facebook, too. The so-called reverse racism is beyond that. It's just racism that we see at the campuses being instilled by the white controllers over the so-called minorities, who are now the new majority in most areas, is mind-blowing. We have a guest joining us to talk about the left's weird takeover of race-based narratives and its merger with Islam, you name it. I have a lot of clips, a lot of articles to get to. Then I'm going to open the phones up to listeners just to get your take on where you think this country is currently, where it's headed, what you think of Trump, what you think of the unprecedented censorship being launched against InfoWars, against Breitbart, against so many others. I mean, the fact that Apple would just say, Breitbart, you don't get to have an app, and kick those off. Or Google, with AdRoll would say, you can't advertise anymore on the internet through our platforms. And just say, you're fake. You're subhuman. That's like saying, I guess that's the way to ban gays from stuff, to say, gays are now fake news. They'd be like, I'm not going to bake your cake because you're fake news. Well, it's really because I'm gay. Well, it's fake news, so that's okay. I say you're fake. That's libel. That's slander. That's defamation. They're the ones organizing behind the scenes to do it. The New York Times and everybody cheerleading, shut Alex Jones up. His fake news is going to get people killed. Then they put out fake news about what we've said. That generates hysteria because my name has so much credibility with people. Then somebody goes in there with a gun, and now it's my fault. They know exactly what they're doing. Dirt bags. We've got a lot of special reports to get to as well. Paul Joseph Watson did an incredibly powerful one the truth about Sweden. And it just makes your mind reel to realize that things have gotten this crazy and this out of control. But this is a very, very positive sign. As long as we fight back, as long as we adapt and overcome, as long as we resist this politically and peacefully, what we're promoting is classic Americana, Renaissance, classical liberalism. They've just changed all the definitions. The old fake conservatives that want to control people by guilt, nobody's listening to them. The leftists that want to control everybody by guilt, and their cult, people don't want that. All the demographics and numbers show it, no matter what color you are. They're trying to bully everybody right now out of panicked understanding that humanity, the sleeping giant, as I said earlier, is awakening. I've got so many of these special reports I want to get to, but let's play Brzezinski's daughter on MSNBC. Our job is to control exactly what people think. That's their job. See, I'm here to get you to think for yourself, see what the globalists are thinking so you understand the real paradigm, not the little false paradigms they try to get us caught up in where universities are now banning whiteboards because somebody might write something that's offensive. So see, ban books because somebody might write something that's offensive. You're like, oh, it's not that bad. That's the plan. So let's go to Mika. Here it is.
Exactly. That's exactly what I hear. What Yamiche just said is what I hear from all the Trump supporters that I talk to who were Trump voters and are still Trump supporters. They go, yeah, you guys are going crazy. He's doing, what are you so surprised about? He's doing exactly what he said he's going to do.
Well, and I think that the dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job.
Yeah, if you look at the issues.
I love how mainstream media tries to act like they're not trying to influence you. That's their biggest bias, is that I'm here openly trying to influence an open, free society, Second Amendment, pro-life, but also a very tolerant society, and religious freedom, and nationalism, and studying how combines and globalists and monopolies have taken over in the past and have taken over now to reverse that. I'm a fan of humanity. See, I just wore it all on my sleeve. These people are all sycophants in New York and LA and places like Trump talked about, the elites trying to become more elite. So the globalists just thought they were going to install Hillary and we wouldn't fight back. But the sleeping giant that is America has awoken. We have fought back. And President Trump is aware of the globalist program. And the con men that thought that they could just keep all this in the dark and thought they could just roll out the rest of their cultural takeover and financial takeover are now panicking because they had all the big TV shows already produced, like Homeland, set for this year, where there's a female president, and Alex Jones literally is out to get her and is a terrorist. But see, she didn't get in, but the TV show's still airing. And they're calling for shutting down the, quote, alt-right, saying, we're fake news. Yes, it's not that you're trying to censor your opposition. It's not that you're trying to be fascist or authoritarian or communist. Oh, no, no, no. You're doing what the communist Chinese started doing in 1996, banning free speech on their internet, calling it banning fake news. And now China is in PC World, the Associated Press, and Wall Street Journal, with our media going, oh, you're so good at banning fake news. Tell us how to do it with a straight face. Might as well say, you've got great suicide vans and Falun Gong prisoners. You harvest their organs. Gee, tell us how you did that too. We've now reached this otherworldly craziness where they're still going ahead with their internet takeover plan and their plan to block nationalist movements in Europe at the State Department, even though Trump's in, and they're just ignoring whatever the president says. And you've got reports up on Drudge Report where Maxine Waters is calling Trump's cabinet scumbags. That's when she's not saying that Putin and the Russians have invaded Korea, not North or South, just Korea. Of course, they didn't invade either, but there's been no military action by the Russians, but it just doesn't matter. Because, all her opposition is subhuman. See, we're all scumbags. We're all fake news. Pelosi still thinks Bush is the president, George W., but that's okay. That's okay. Can we cue up the scumbag part when we can? Now, I'm going to take your phone calls at the bottom of the hour, but I wanted to get this fella in because he's an expert on it. He's written a book about it. Scott Greer, he's at thedailycaller.com. I wanted to get him on because he's written articles dealing with all this. Students wear white pins to remind them of white privilege. But it gets better. Here's another one today. This is out of the Detroit News. University bans dorm room. That's right. University bans dorm room whiteboards to stop hurtful words. The college fix. And he's written the book, No Campus for White Men. And folks, whenever Arkansas wouldn't let little black girls into the public school, Eisenhower in 1959 sent in the National Guard. Also happened in Alabama. This, though, is literally, we've all seen the footage of where people come over to a white person and say, you're not welcome on campus. And now the black groups, the Hispanic groups, others are saying, we want our own white-free area. And then now it's just no whites at all. And then if you go to the campuses, you've got to go attend classes where you're taught in Stockholm Syndrome that you're inherently bad because you're white. They're dividing the schools up, the secondary learning, the colleges of higher learning, into prisons. That's how you control prisons and anywhere in the country. You got the Hispanics, blacks, and the whites. And there's a big Asian population, say San Francisco, you got an area for the Asians. That's how the warden, the divide and conquer folks control. So they're invoking the most hardcore racism and also saying ban free speech. Can't have whiteboards because that might hurt somebody's feelings if somebody might write something bad. That's saying ban books. Somebody might write something bad. This is a total admitted cult. And Jerry Seinfeld can come out and basically admit that. Jerry Seinfeld can say that, liberalism and political correctness is a cult, but he still supports all the other major tenets of it. So there's also this insanity inside the left of going along with this. And now they're outright bullies, just beating up white people everywhere, mainly white people doing it, and saying you have no right. And of course, we have one of the DNC candidates, high-level Democrats, saying, I'm white, but I will suppress the whites and make sure they don't get privilege and you get all the privilege. And then you have AdRoll that works with Google, one of the biggest ad agencies out there, saying InfoWars isn't allowed to advertise with us after almost 3 years on our online platforms because we say you're hateful and fake and no political news is allowed on your website. They're claiming there's a Federal Elections Commission rule. There is no Federal Elections Commission rule. But see, Hillary was going to do all this. This had all been announced. So they're trying to cut off the ad revenue to the Daily Caller, InfoWars, you name it. Drudge is smart and has his own platform. We're going to have to go back to that and just do it because we're under attack. That's why we're doing a fundraiser just by selling high-quality products, Infowars.com/show. You can go make donations of $5, $10, $100. Very easy to do on PayPal or credit card. Very secure system. Or go to InfoWarsStore.com and you can get our great nutraceuticals, Brain Force and Super Male Vitality and Survival Shield X2 and books and films and non-GMO heirloom seeds. And you get a free high-quality Alexa Pure water filtration system. When you get a 3-month supply of great high-quality storable food to have. We have nanotech, highest quality body armor that nobody else has got with the Defense Department and state police. Yeah, we get it first because we're patriots. It's all there. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. And send a message to these people. We've already had a lot of orders come in, record orders, and I want to thank you. But it's a big shortfall. So I want to be able to, the next few days, announce to the globalists they failed yet again in their attempt to censor us. But you're getting great products. You're supporting free speech. If they can shoot down InfoWars, they can shoot us all down. That's what all this bullying is about. So separately on that subject, Daily Caller writer, I want to thank you for coming on with us today. Scott Greer, again, at Twitter, at Scott Greer, or McGreer. Folks can find that, Scott M. Greer, at dailycaller.com. You hear this stuff and it sounds crazy till you see the videos of it, or I read a book like you've written. I want to get into that and where you think all this is going. But before we do that, what do you make of all the announcements that we should be banned, you should be banned, and now the attempts to do it? What do we do about this? Because, I mean, if a cake place gets sued and the police indict them for not baking a cake for gay people, You know, I say, hey, bake their cake. But here's the deal. Then I'm not allowed. Other companies, though, can refuse to do business with me saying I'm a subhuman, I'm a bad person because I'm a conservative or I'm white. I mean, what's going on here?
Well, they try to do that with everything. The left now is particularly anti-free speech. Anti-free speech is a cornerstone of their ideology. They mark everything as hate speech. InfoWars is hate speech. Breitbart's hate speech. Daily Caller's hate speech. Donald Trump's hate speech. Milo Yiannopoulos is hate speech. Everything is hate speech, and they try to shut everything down. And the place we see this the most is on a college campus. That's why I wrote No Campus for White Men, because this is a problem that everybody's seeing. But it's now going outside of the college campus where they're trying to shut down ad revenue. There's just a story this week coming from BuzzFeed where they got a leaked email from a major corporation saying that a lot of their clients are wanting to blacklist Breitbart because they don't want to be associated with the hateful rhetoric there. And almost the way that you have to push back is there has to be pressure from conservatives, from the right, to say that, you know what, we're going to support this company and we're going to boycott you if you are punishing conservatives just for expressing their free speech. You know, the left, the reason why they always cater to the left is the left has the greatest pressure. If they want to push some kind of agenda or ideology, it always comes to the left because the left has the biggest platform and it's going to intimidate and pressure them. What now needs to happen is the right to have equal pressure and put the pressure on these companies, such as when Breitbart decided to boycott Kellogg's when Kellogg's pulled all their ad revenue for them, which was very bad PR for Kellogg's and probably not a smart move. You need that to come from the right, as we see on the left throughout the years.
Well, let's expand on that. They know it's lawsuit city, so they tiptoe around and say, hey, let's boycott together. A boycott you can do. When you get Hillary and the government and Soros saying, ban fake news, don't let them advertise, don't advertise with them, that's an organized attempt to shut a business down, and it's clearly criminal.
In some ways, it's very un-American. It's un-American to shut down a business just for expressing their viewpoints. And they try to claim that, oh, they're causing hate crimes. There's no hate crimes there. There's no violence being caused. There's no illegality caused. They try to use all this fantasy. They don't need any basis in facts. They just need the emotional appeal that, oh, we think this is dangerous. We have to shut it down. It's very un-American, and that's the way you push against it. I think you can launch lawsuits if there is ways that they're using illegal means or ways that is against the Constitution and our laws, that you can sue them and take them to civil court or possibly criminal court, depending on what they're doing.
And look, somebody has to start doing it, because they're in the New York Times saying, shut off InfoWars. They're in the Washington Post saying, shut it off, shut it down. They're in the news saying, shut down Drudge Report. You know, have the Federal Elections Commission go after them, saying our speech is political, so we can't have speech. Well, we have the First Amendment. Of course it's political. I'm going to skip this break. Let's get into your book itself and the fact that this is clearly organized and where this is coming from with the big foundations.
Well, on a college campus, some of the stuff is coming from the big foundations. When you had the Milo riot in Berkeley, one of the groups was getting sponsored by a group that is funded by George Soros. So there is some organization there. But a lot of this is kind of organic to the campuses. But the campus culture has just kind of created these crazies who just want to advocate for this racial change, that everything is just based on racial identity or an ethnic identity. And there's this war against whiteness, as they say. So a lot of this is just organically created by the campus culture that's been developed over the last 50 years. You know, this just didn't just pop out of a vacuum. This is a long path that we've taken from, you know, implementing, you know, studies that are only exclusive for certain ethnic groups, having groups that are reserved only for, you have to have a certain racial background in order to join this group. They have these types of things that have been going on for several years now.
I was about to say, they follow the very premise of the KKK, but it's, quote, for minorities. It's totally exclusionary towards whites, fundamentally saying the color of someone's skin is a primal sin. Again, the total opposite of Martin Luther King.
Yeah, exactly. And what we're seeing now is they're creating kind of a moral culture. I outlined this in No Campus for White Men. Called victimhood culture, where everybody is judged. It's judged based on how much you can appeal to a victim status. You're going to get moral status and moral value based on that. So if it's not based on who has the most honor, the most accomplishments, or your dignity that comes from being an American citizen, it's all about your ability to demonstrate that you're an oppressed victim. And it has nothing to do with income or socioeconomic status. It's all having to deal with your color of your skin, your sexual orientation, all that kind of stuff, all the kind of identity.
And then you put yourself into this group that has cultural controllers, so you've now been divided into little subgroups.
Exactly. It is kind of a divide and conquer. It eventually comes up with tribal warfare. This is what we're seeing on college campus. It's everybody pitting against each other. Everyone's put in these groups. Nobody comes together for what's good for the student body or for Americans as a whole. It's just, this is good for my little tribe, and I'm going to go to war for it, and I'm going to advocate just for my tribe. I don't care about anybody else. So that's why they're now, what we're seeing in a lot of campuses, such as California State University, Los Angeles, where they're wanting segregated housing. They actually implemented segregated housing for African Americans, which was put forth by Black activists. This is Jim Crow era stuff. They put this forward, and it's cheaper, more affordable, and better housing that's reserved exclusively for African American students. And they had to do this because apparently there's too many microaggressions they have to deal with, which are kind of unintended jokes and comments that are made that can be perceived as racially aggressive.
You've got a little bit too much reverb. I really want to be able to hear what you have to say and finish up here talking about your book. So I'm gonna put you on hold for just a moment via Skype. It's great to be able to see you. We're going to call you up on your phone. Stay on Skype, but let's do phone as well because the reverb's a little bit confusing there. I want folks to be able to hear this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the colleges, a lot of their enrollments are way down, especially after they have these anti-white riots and things, and where you see the weird white female teachers leading minority groups saying whites aren't allowed anywhere on the school grounds and saying this is our area and, get me some muscle over here. These are wimps practicing war in an open, free society of people that have been taught to be tolerant. So we're all brought up to be like dodo birds, especially if you're white. And a dodo bird, they were extinct very quick after humans found their island because they would just sit there on the ground and wouldn't run away from it. You could kill them. You could kill one right in front of another dodo bird and wouldn't do anything. And so the West is so open, so liberal, so free that in Sweden, they actually say, I'm sorry, rape me again. I mean, this is just, they go to anti-racism events to be raped by the North African invaders. Okay? So this is just what's going on. This is pure racism. This is pure cultural, you deserve to be raped because you're a white Swede. And then you come and give yourself as a sacrament, and then you're like freaking out once you're being gang raped. So this is what's happening. This is total Stockholm Syndrome, mass mental illness. And they know what they're doing. The controllers know what they're doing. And it's meant to just wreck education itself. They were threatened by a free press. They were threatened by our great universities and open free thought. But now they're banning the whiteboards because someone might write on them, plus they're white. And they're banning images of men being masculine. In the new transgender thing in National Geographic, there was no woman there. Oh, here's the woman that has kids. She has some value. No, you don't exist because you're the real enemy. And so they told you who you were there. And Gloria Steinem admits the CIA hired her. They set the whole thing up to break up the family. And they've done it. Pretty good job. We're trying to emergency reorganize and fix things. This is an attack against everybody. But you have to understand, the people controlling this know what they're doing. Getting back to my guest here, again, who's authored the book. We can put it up on screen for some of the TV viewers, dealing with the fact that there is absolutely no campus for white men is the book, Scott Greer. I've been asking the questions here, but what do you think overall is behind this? How bad will it get before it ever gets better?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Can you hear me? That's another issue. People never can hear me over the phone. All right, can you hear me now, my friend?
I can hear you.
All right, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We're just finishing your point, so I get some good audio there with you about your book.
Well, and yeah, just so going on my book, the reason why I wrote this book is just because we saw so many crazy events that were happening on college campus. The real inspiration that came for the book was in November 2015 when we had these two incidents that happened at University of Missouri and Yale University, where there was these aggressive protests. University of Missouri was even worse. They were able to force out their university president because he was apparently not doing enough with the school's racism that was a big problem on college campus. So they were able to convince over 30 African American football players to boycott any future games unless he left. And they were able to force him to leave. And the incidents they pointed to were not even that big of a deal. Some of them, one was that they saw a marking in a dormitory bathroom, and they said, this is a sign of the racism we have to deal with. And when I saw these incidents, it just led to me to write the book, No Campus for White Men.
Well, this is like comedians now that see highway markings that aren't even swastikas, that are figure eights. and they go freak out saying swastikas are everywhere. I mean, this is like a mental illness.
Oh, absolutely. It is. It is the kind of things that we see. It is mental. It is mental illness. And the way that we've seen this is what they use to suppress the speech is that somehow if you say certain ideas, if you say conservative ideas on a college campus, it's not that it's just wrong and there's these facts that they'll use to prove it. It's saying this is a threat to my safety. I'm going to die if you express this viewpoint on a college campus. I am not going to survive if Milo Yiannopoulos or anybody else comes on a college campus and says their point of view. So they say it is, but it's just mark of crazy people. I mean, the only people who say that are mentally ill. If you're a normal person and you say, I just saw something on the TV and I'm going to die because this person said that, people are going to laugh at you and say you're crazy and you need help. But on a college campus, that's taken seriously, and they're able to shut down speakers just because of this appeal that somehow their safety is threatened.
And then that feeds to it to where universities are now banning, and so are high schools, American flags, because that triggers people. American flag shirts. The Ninth Circuit ruled that was okay 2 years ago. The same one that ruled against Trump, ignored the law. And now we have universities banning whiteboards. That's saying ban books because someone might write something that hurts someone's feelings. You can't make that up.
Yeah, these are places where free speech is not available. It's basically suppressing speech because if any viewpoint is expressed that might hurt somebody's safety or feelings, they're going to shut it down. That's why the whiteboards. I mean, how are you going to express? These are college campuses. People are pushing the envelope. This is young people pushing the envelope, and of course they're going to write silly things on whiteboards. These are college kids. But apparently, because we can't have nice things, we can't have fun things in college, they have to shut it down. And even worse, they're even going after the English language at some campuses because it's too white supremacist, even though it's a language we all speak. But
they're trying to get rid of the word lynch because that triggers people think they might be lynched when it's just an Irish name. MSU banning whiteboards due to bullying. Again, this is so they can bully you, turn everybody into basket cases, and then the controllers in the mental ward, the whole planet's a mental ward under this, they then make sure there's no bullying, so there's no real communication, outlawing literature, outlawing culture, outlawing the species. Scott Greer, dailycaller.com. I can't wait to read the whole book. Thank you so much, and I hope people get the book before it gets banned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have that fella back on. I got to tell you, folks mean business, and we can't fall into this thing of being racist if we're white and think the minorities are out to get us. The average, quote, minority is just like everybody else is trying to have a job and a family and a life and just sick of all this crap. But this is what's being pushed by the social engineers, and they have created just a monstrous victimology of a whole generation of people, millennials, who are going to call for all speech to be banned they don't agree with. So see how perfect that is for the bullies to claim that you're a bully while they're bullying you. We'll be back with key news straight ahead. We've got Roger Stone and Dr. Steve Pieczenik coming up in the 4th hour to talk about the censorship exploding around the country and the world. Jordan Maxwell is going to be joining us. Paul Joseph Watson is going to host 3 to 4. And then we've got Brittany Pettibone hosting the 4th hour. We've got Millie Weaver, Darren McBreen, Leanne McAdoo. We've got David Knight, the InfoWars Nightly News tonight. It'll be live with a lot of packages as well. And then we've also got, that's some of it, tape pieces, produced pieces. And then we've also got myself, 8 to midnight. And I'm going to do a Ask Me Anything Reddit starting at 8, right through for about 2 hours. I'm not going to do 2 hours solid with Reddit, but I'll do about an hour and a half with Reddit. And I'll also take some phone calls. So it'll be a Reddit while I'm live on air, Ask Me Anything. So it'll be both phone calls then. It's such a big deal to have massive censorship taking place against InfoWars at the levels they're doing it. And under law, what's being done is massive civil rights violation, massive discrimination, just open and shut. But it's being pushed by the mainstream media. It's being pushed by the big foundations. It's being pushed by some of the courts. The Fourth Circuit, in fact, I sent this to Nico. He probably gave it to me, ruled against the Second Amendment 2 days ago. On Monday, I didn't even know about that till this morning. I was on Raw Story where they were celebrating, attacks on me, and I saw them celebrating that, and I went and read the ruling. It was just like, they said guns that aren't for hunting are banned, and you can't have a gun that could be military. That's the exact gun you need. And so semi-autos can all be banned. People, I'm not just up here saying, we're still in a fight. We're in big trouble. keep tuning in because, Trump's saying everything's okay, and I just want to, keep the audience. Quite frankly, if Trump wasn't being opposed like this, was actually able to stabilize things, we just do the 4-hour show. I still have the nightly news. There'd still be plenty to cover, fight for freedom, but I wouldn't be hyperventilating, desperate, totally freaked out. I mean, I feel sick right now. Okay? I don't even want to be on air right now, okay? I mean, it doesn't make me want to quit, but it fundamentally makes me want to up our game even more to a very frustrating level is what I'm saying. When you've got massive hordes of people banning books, banning chalkboards, banning speech, attacking women everywhere, attacking families trying to go to the inauguration, looking like rat-like scum just crazed out of some movie like they're in some devil cult. And lies everywhere and bullying and death threats and open economic sabotage and just all sorts of other bizarre behavior. The public has become satanic, narcissistic, twisted, disconnected, lazy, spoiled, stupid. And they just love company, and the globalists have helped create this mess, and they've now just organized these giant throngs of goblin-like dumbasses that are the biggest victims of this system, and the globalists write all these white papers and books, how they've done it to people, and they engage in such incredibly fundamental lies constantly, it makes my head spin. But here's the good news. We would be in so much trouble right now if Trump wasn't in, and they're really having to reveal themselves right now in their attempts to stop him and get him out. They are so panicked. They wanted those next 4 Supreme Court justices. They wanted to further bankrupt the economy and consolidate control. They wanted to kind of have their losers get to play army scenario where they play, cowardly culture war and totally destroy what's left of humanity and the family. But humanity is kicking back in, coming from behind, and having massive gains. But when I just see how they bitch and complain because Christians don't want to rent their house to a homosexual couple, and then, okay, you can debate whether that's right or not. That could be discriminatory. I mean, I'm kind of a libertarian. I see where that's going. But then what if those folks aren't tolerant, you see, of their Christianity? Rent a room or whatever. I mean, who do you really want in your house? Maybe you love people that are gay. Maybe you hate them. The point is that individual right to say, I like this restaurant, not that restaurant, because that is discrimination. I like green peas. I don't like black-eyed peas. I mean, I like both, but I'm just using it as an analogy. So discrimination just means, you choose a road you think's a quicker, better way to go somewhere. That's discriminatory. Discrimination's walking down a path, not stepping in a hole. Discrimination's picking the girl you want to try to go out with. But they tell you, don't have discrimination, just take on the values we want to give you, and their values are pure cultural death. So, okay, somebody in Seattle doesn't want to bake a cake for somebody that want to have, their gay cake or whatever, the rainbow on it. You could argue you're open for business, Civil Rights Act, the rest of it. That's one step away from telling, black folks, they can't come in your restaurant. But then what if somebody wanted you to make a KKK cake? See, starts getting a little hard to differentiate there. Quite frankly, I think it was a setup if I owned a bakery. Somebody walked in and said, make a KKK cake. I'd say, what is it? Make your own KKK cake. Or how about I make you the cake and I sell you the icing and then you do it yourself? What if somebody came in and said, I want you to, put a big men's member on it? There have been cases people don't want to do that because they're Christians. The point is, if it's a small mom and pop, kind of leave them alone. You know what I mean? I think chains and folks have to follow pretty open policy, but they can have policies as well. But you can't argue we got a policy that we just adopted that you can't be political and have advertising claiming that you're violating the Federal Elections Commission. Because that's how they said they'd go after us in Drudge. When I'm advertising supplements and water filters, that's what our advertisement was through Google and AdRoll, not AdBlade. The names are similar, 2 different groups. AdRoll. And they just said, you're fake news. You put out disinformation. No judge, no jury, no ruling. We just dehumanized you. And a 3-year relationship, it's gone. Because of potentially sensitive information. You hurt somebody's feelings. We don't tell you what you did. We don't tell you anything. We just say that your relationship with us brought in $3.3 million. in profit. That's profit in that program, not profit in InfoWars and free speech systems, but profit to fund us, because that's what we do. Quite frankly, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be doing other things for money, and I'd be happy with the money I had. And I shouldn't have to even say that. It doesn't matter. It's a free market system. I want you to be successful. I want to be successful. The problem is those of us that are true lovers of freedom aren't that hungry. Once we have our bills taken care of and our cars and go on vacation, and you can donate money to charity if you need to, and you got a little money in the bank, you feel good. That's all I ever wanted, until they tried to destroy me, and they tried to crush me, and they tried to say that I was all about money, and then tried to infiltrate and overthrow InfoWars 10 years ago. I announced on air, I said, I'm going to expand from 4 or 5 million people a week to 20 million people a week, and we did it. Then we went to over 40 million a week, and I said we'd do it. And now we're going to over 100 million, and some weeks we've got 80 plus, and that's real numbers. And they're scared because they know InfoWars is one of the biggest media events in the world. We're on thousands of platforms because we faced censorship before, and we're all about total diversity. And it's a war. If they can take down the lead elephant, Alex Jones, InfoWars, they can take down the other lead elephants, and when they're done with Drudge and Limbaugh and Breitbart, they're coming after you. And they say they want Trump dead. They say they want his family bankrupt. They say they want me dead. They say they want you dead. They want you under their control. They're a cult, and they've got a bunch of the dumbest, most profoundly manipulated, zombie-like cult members following them. And it's very, very sad, but nevertheless, we have history and facts on our side. And they are just a swarm out there announcing that if they, the magical ones, that means any social justice warrior, Google admits this, YouTube, Facebook, all of them, that they will start banning you because the community didn't like you. But then it turns out with Reddit, and it turns out with Dig, and it turns out with Apple and all these systems, it's come out in the news. It's been leaked. They have little super bots, super community people, and their vote is worth 1,000 times yours. And then they said even if you outvote them 1,000 to 1, they go to a higher board in the company, and they say, you are the special AstroTurf. You are the magic one. Dig investigates claim of conservative censorship. Oh, they're investigating. Oh, did Hitler investigate killing Jews in 1945? Did he look into it? Did John Holmes investigate if he was in porn? Did Donald Trump investigate if he was married to Melania? You're married to Melania, Trump. Let me investigate that. I remember Dig. We were #1 on Dig like 10 years ago. Everything we did was #1. They just banned InfoWars. The URL, everything. Well, but you go back and look at Dig. Dig censors InfoWars. And you know what? Look at what happened to Dig. They went from being as big as Reddit or bigger to being toilet bowl, leftist echo chamber cult. And just like it's their little university, Facebook's their university, and Twitter's their university, and Dig, and Reddit. Oh, and the Donald's, the most popular thing on Reddit. It's more popular than almost all their other sections combined. So now they're announcing more censorship and blocking sharing and controlling the contagion. And not letting you, first it was don't share Pizzagate links. Now it's don't share InfoWars links. So tonight, 8 o'clock Central, I'm going to go on live, talk about it. And we can ask me anything, but we're really going to be watching in the control room the censorship that goes on Dig and the different ways it's known. Not Dig, excuse me. Same creature, same, just different orifice. Reddit. So tonight we're going to be on a Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're teleprompter free here, folks. I make mistakes. 8 o'clock, part of this transmission. So please go to InfoWarsStore.com. If you believe in this broadcast, you want to see us continue on. Go get the colloidal silver, 33% off. Get the 3-month supply of high-quality, made-in-America, totally clean, fresh, storable foods, and get a free Alexa Pure large $200+ value water filter free. We have more different print, different color ink, different variant, different size, different paper, but still limited edition. 2,500 of Trump, 700 of Ronald Reagan. When those limited editions are gone by the famous artist, it's the official Republican Party artist, they're gone. I'm not going to sell any more of his prints, unless I guess it's of somebody else. But of Reagan, it's a one-time deal. Of Trump, they sold out so quick that we've come back with, again, a variant of the same drawing, but in different print, different color. Because so many folks wanted it. Oh, and guess what? Even though it sold out in 2 days last time, we're doing it for $19.95. That's in the tube. Delivered to your door. You try to buy something like this at an art house, it'd be $200 in the tube, $300 framed. Believe me. It's amazing. And it's great to support this openly. Support free speech, exercise your speech, and support what we're doing and get a great piece of art. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. There's Caveman, Ultimate Paleo, Bone Broth and Turmeric and more. Formula, a couple scoops of that a day. Wow. Talk about, I mean, I couldn't bench press really heavy anymore, even though I'm still strong because of my joints. And I started taking Caveman, and it just absolutely knocked it out. I mean, just next level with the collagen and all the rest of it. InfoWarsStore.com or call toll free 888-253-3139. Most of our supplements have 4.8, 4.9 reviews on Power Reviews, third-party site. Notice there that the day Caveman came out, before anybody could review it, there were dozens of lying fake reviews saying it was horrible to drive it down, hoping to create the illusion that people don't like it so it doesn't go to 4.8 like the others. It's at 3.9 right now, or blow that up, it's at 3.8. I mean, that's how much they're after us, folks, with fake Better Business Bureau filings and just you name it. I mean, you want somebody to fight? We're fighting. We're standing up against the globalists. We're taking action. And you're supporting us. We love you. I want to thank you. I'm not complaining, but spread the article, spread the video, spread the links, send us the tips, start your own website, start your own local shows, start your own investigative journalism. You've got, the initiative, you've got the mind, you've got the will. Take action. Defend the InfoWars special. Right now going, InfoWarsStore.com. InfoWars.com/show to find all the free video links for this 13-hour broadcast to send to everybody you know. So it goes viral, and there's millions extra who wouldn't have ever watched saying, hey, this is forbidden information. They don't want you to watch. They don't want you to see. It's a 13-hour transmission. This is the guy they're saying don't listen to. This is the guy Homeland is demonizing. This is the guy they're going after. Go to InfoWars.com/show. You can find the donate tab just to give us $5, $20, $30, $100, $250. Hey, freedom isn't free. You've got my commitment, as you've seen us, to change the world if you'll pray for us and back us, and you've seen it happen. You want to see us go next level? Believe me, I know there's great danger in doing that, but I'm going to do it, or I'm going to fight as hard as I can. Also, you can write to us at P.O. Box 19549, Austin, Texas, 78760. If you'd like to write us a check, money order, and donate, and please support our local affiliates. You know that they need your prayers and financial support as well. Now, I want to go to Paul Watson's powerful report. I don't have time to air the whole thing now, but this is the truth about Sweden, what really happened last night in Sweden. And watching this is even more powerful, though it's painful to see what's happening. But go to InfoWars.com/show if you want to see this live feed right now.
Sweden.
It used to be so nice, it used to be so good.
You look at what's happening last night in Sweden.
I tried to reach for you, but you have closed your mind.
Isn't it strange how all the leftists who mocked Trump about his last night in Sweden quote are suddenly so quiet about what happened last night in Sweden? Men in a migrant suburb of Stockholm rioted, burned cars and attacked reporters, shopkeepers and police officers because cops arrested a drug dealer. So I put out a challenge for lefties who thought that Sweden's crime-ridden suburbs were safe to visit themselves, prompting a bunch of D-rate celebrities to shamelessly virtue signal about how progressive they are, the kind of people who live in the whitest areas possible and would themselves if they went anywhere near an Islamic ghetto. Unlike yours truly, who got chased out of one, Molenbeek, days after the Paris massacre. My challenge was accepted by Tim Pool, who was then told by other left-wing journalists not to investigate Sweden's migrant suburbs. Really? Journalists scared of someone doing journalism. But if Sweden's migrant suburbs are so culturally enriched and safe as you claim, what are you afraid of? The truth? The truth about a country that's so safe it holds the proud honor of being the rape capital of Europe. A country where rapes are so commonplace that migrant culprits laugh at their victims as they report it to the police.
Nej. Nej. Sweden is on a fast track to disaster. Yes, it's a refugee overload. That's a good word.
I mean, it's so safe that Turkish government newspapers are placing ads warning their citizens about it. Sweden's migrant suburbs are so safe that when television crews visit them to prove that they're safe, they're physically attacked by migrants.
The police leave, and as we prepare to go, young men masking their faces arrive.
Good, you're doing good. You're doing good? Yeah. Okay, very good. Take it easy. Okay, you too.
And attack.
Go. Mate, go. Don't you touch me.
There's no need to be unkind.
You can't feel it. No, don't do it.
The gang's attention turns when a local intervenes and drives his mobility scooter into the most violent attacker.
We've been individually attacked. Soundman has been punched, the producer's been punched, you've been run over, the cameraman. We've all been assaulted and insulted.
Sweden's migrant suburbs are so safe that filmmakers fear for their lives as they're assaulted on the street.
While we were setting up a shoot at a neighboring location, we were approached by 5 men and told to leave. While my crew took off, I stayed to simply ask why we had to leave. Because I was still wired, we had the sound of what happened next.
How come it's a problem to film here?
I don't want to be filmed.
I know, but why? What's the why?
I just don't want to.
Spawn, you know. But why?
Let me see. Let me see.
I'm not filming anything. Look.
Show me what you got.
Let go of me.
Show me what you got.
Show me. Let go. I'll show you.
I don't want your phone. Show me.
Let go now.
Thank God we got a Second Amendment. These Somalis aren't too tolerant, folks. Be kidnapped in 5 minutes in their country. They've got a survival instinct.
Sweden's migrant suburbs are so safe that ambulance workers are demanding riot gear to go anywhere near them. Sweden's migrant suburbs are so safe that Swedish citizens are demanding bulletproof vests while the government tries to ban them. Sweden's migrant suburbs are so safe that there are 55 no-go zones, the vast majority of which are migrant suburbs.
There are now 55 declared no-go zones in Sweden where police have to escort ambulances to ensure their safety.
Oh, but the police do go there, so how dare you call them no-go zones? Yeah, they go there and they're attacked with rocks and missiles. That's not safe. Sweden's migrant suburbs are so safe that pro-immigration Swedish politicians and celebrities live nowhere near them. Sweden's migrant suburbs are so safe that in some areas, meter maids have just stopped going. Sweden's migrant suburbs are so safe that maintenance companies have refused to service customers who live there. Sweden's migrant suburbs are so safe that some Somali immigrants want to leave because their violence-plagued homeland is safer. Sweden's migrant suburbs are so safe that immigrant-led riots and mass burning of cars is commonplace, including last night in Sweden. Sweden's migrant suburbs are so safe that Malmö is known as Sweden's Chicago. It's one of the most dangerous cities in the whole of Western Europe, with a murder rate higher than Paris and London. Malmö has a foreign population of around 43%, and areas like Rosengård are 90% Muslim. But I'm sure that's just a coincidence. 42-year-old police veteran Chief Superintendent Torsten Olofsson says that migrants comprise the majority of people being arrested in the city. He also says that explosions and grenade attacks are routine as a form of intimidation. And Swedes are so pleased with the impact that mass immigration has had on their country that the far-right anti-immigrant Sweden Democrats Party has risen from relative obscurity to be almost #1 in the polls. If there's no problem with mass immigration, why has their support doubled? Integration of immigrants in Sweden has been so successful that 53% of prisoners serving long-term sentences in Sweden have a foreign background. Integration of immigrants in Sweden has been so successful that veteran police officer Peter Springer says that almost every suspect involved in a serious violent crime is called Mohammed or another Islamic name. Integration of immigrants in Sweden has been so successful that less than 500 Out of 160,000 refugees who arrived in 2016 have a job. Integration of immigrants in Sweden has been so successful that half of all jobless are foreigners. Integration of immigrants in Sweden has been so successful that 58% of welfare payments go to migrants. Integration of immigrants in Sweden has been so successful that ISIS flags have been legalized and returning jihadists are being considered for welfare payments. Integration of immigrants in Sweden has been so successful that migrants are raping women at anti-racism festivals.
Over the past 2 years, dozens of young women, some as young as 12, were raped at these festivals across Sweden by hundreds of young immigrants. They use the tactic where dozens of men surround one or more girls in circles. While the men in the inner circle sexually attacks their victims, the outer circle distracts and keeps out anyone who would stop it. The attacks have become so common that some bands, most notably Mumford & Sons, refuse to play in Sweden.
This has happened multiple times and to multiple victims. Then the issue is that when it is reported, this was widely known by the people who were there, the police that was on the scene, but then they put the lid on it. So they covered it up. They covered it up.
Integration of immigrants in Sweden has been so successful that preschool kids are playing ISIS games. Integration of immigrants in Sweden has been so successful that the words "Pray to Allah or die" alongside an ISIS flag were spray painted on the side of a school. Integration of immigrants in Sweden has been so successful that an ISIS supporter was employed as an immigration officer. The Huffington Post claims that deadly crime has decreased over time in Sweden. The New York Times also claimed crime was decreasing. And that's fake news. Lethal violence has increased 29% since 2014. Sex crimes have doubled since 2012. Gun violence has increased 84% over the last 9 years. All the sources for those stats are in the description below. The Swedish government does not record the ethnicity of those involved in crime, reports the Huffington Post. Oh gee, I wonder why that is. I wonder why they stopped producing reports on this back in 2005. Could it possibly be because the 2005 report showed immigrants to be vastly overrepresented in crime stats? Could it be because immigrants were 5.5 times more likely to carry out rape? Could the lack of statistics relating to migrant crimes be anything to do with the fact that police have been ordered to cover them up? And if you don't believe these facts, or anything that I have to say, then listen to what an actual refugee living in Sweden has to say.
Donald Trump is not wrong about Sweden. This huge influx of migrants has been causing quite some problems. Sex crimes have increased severely. Bathhouses and music festivals, I mean, the reports for sex crimes on those have gone up by a lot. And in 80% of sex crime cases pertaining to bathhouses, this is the official police report, 80% of the perpetrators were newly arrived migrants.
There's no doubt the people we're up against are not misguided. They know exactly what they're doing. They can look at the demographics of the planet. 7% of the world's white. It's a bunch of white globalists that want to bring in third world populations, turn them into race-based systems, and then absolutely divide and conquer society. Break up the family, you name it. I'm going to have Millie Weaver and Leanne McAdoo, who are going to be hosting 2 hours today of the marathon broadcast as we fight for free speech, popping in with their view on this and more at the bottom of the hour. Jordan Maxwell's joining us just about the whole globalist agenda and the more esoteric side to all of that. But it's all these guests, all these people, all these ideas that the system would like to block. You know, I feel dirty. And by dirty, like when I've seen somebody die in a car wreck, you know, like for a day or two, you feel gross. Not that you did anything wrong, just being in the proximity to the, you know, seeing a guy get his head chopped off, flying out of a Corvette. I even think about it now, it makes me feel just grungy. And like I'm sick of it and I want to get away from it. And I know why people punch out of this stuff and stop fighting, because it's like you're tired of looking at globalists and their minions. Just let them be a bunch of scum losers. Move out in the country as far as you can. Try to stay away. They're coming after everybody. The globalists said they're not going to let you live in the country. They're coming after Christians. They're coming after everybody. And they've got all the poor minorities in the inner cities just brainwashing the hell out of them. And it's so sad. And I realize the reason I'm so mad about this ad roll and Google banning us from advertising on their platforms, saying we're subhumans and don't exist and violating our civil rights, is that this is only the beginning. people keep saying, hey, we won. Owen Schroyer was like, hey, we won. We got Trump in. They're now just exploding 10 times worse. We're just in the fight of our lives. We know how bad they were for sure now. But they're blocking everything he wants to do, trying to cause a depression. It's criminal what they're doing. People better pray for Donald Trump. They better hope he gets his agenda through, because let me tell you, this is cut and dry. Let's finish Paul Watson's report.
Sweden.
It used to be so nice, it used to be so good.
You look at what's happening last night in Sweden.
I tried to reach for you, but you have closed your mind.
Isn't it strange how all the leftists who mocked Trump about his last night in Sweden quote are suddenly so quiet?
That's good. We got a live feed, and that's just the way things roll. They actually started it from the start of the report. The conclusion of Paul's, it's got time to do it now still? No, we don't. Okay, here you go.
We're talking about grown migrants being put in the same schools as 13-year-old girls. The results are always the same. There's molestations, there's rape attempts, there's sexual harassment. It's crazy. What's happening in Sweden is nothing short of crazy. I live here. I can read Swedish. Unless we highlight the negatives, we can't change the negatives. Nothing is gonna get better if we just ignore problems and act like everything is fine. And don't give me that about Islamophobia, okay? I have a Muslim background. I don't have a problem with reasonable Muslims. I have a problem with immigration policy. I have a problem with irresponsible politics and bad decisions by politicians. That's my problem. And now we're seeing these big media headlines about how Sweden has no clue what Trump is talking about, so he must just be a big old dummy. That's Sweden knows exactly what Trump is talking about. If they were to see his whole speech in its full context, they could probably figure out what he's referring to. Forget last night in Sweden. What about the last couple of years in Sweden? Or the last decade in Sweden? They're not lying. There is a huge problem with crime and rapes and sex attacks, sexual assaults, molestations related to migrants.
You really want to pick a fight with us over immigration. And your example is Sweden. You really want to pretend that because Donald Trump made a gaffe, that means Sweden is totally safe and doesn't have a problem with mass immigration. Trump's only real mistake was to specify one night in Sweden. This is happening almost every night. And the Islamist-aligned left won't tell you about it because it shatters their utopian bubble that mass immigration works. It does.
We'll be back. Stay with us. All right, Hillary Clinton came out, the New York Times came out about 6 months ago and said we should shut down the alt-right, we should shut down fake news. That's a communist Chinese term they've used to shut down free speech in China since 1996. Now communist China admittedly is helping Zuckerberg, Google, Facebook, and others censor the web here, and China has said, if you can censor your web, we'll let you into our market. I'm not kidding. That's in PC World, you name it. Talk about foreign espionage. Talk about foreign open involvement in our lives. And now we bring in a good portion of our funding via online advertising of high-quality products we sell. And AdRoll, that works for Google, that's the subsidiary they make you go through, just sent us a letter and said, you are involved in politics, and you're not allowed to have advertising if you're a political group. There's no law, there's no regulation, there's no nothing. Now, if you lose your job or get fined or get fired or get sued if you don't bake gay people a cake, but then, if you're a conservative or a nationalist or an anti-globalist, on your own website, you can't advertise water filters with us that are sold on another website. We even have all that divided out. Doesn't matter. Now, every other leftist and globalist group, they can advertise all day. They can call for killing Trump. They can write books about it. That's okay. So we're doing a 13-hour live broadcast right now where we have huge discounts, free water filtration systems with a 3-month supply of high-quality food. We've got 33% off on high-quality colloidal silver at InfoWarsStore.com. You can donate at InfoWars.com/show. Just a straight-up donation if you'd like. We have the new Caveman Paleo formula with the bone broth and turmeric. Amazing formulation. You can sign up for auto ship, an additional 10% off. People say they want to donate, so we put up the donation buttons, and whether it's $20 or more, It takes a lot to set up a Washington bureau and actually be able to ask questions there at the White House press briefings and change the world. It actually takes money to have investigative journalists and studios and do this. And guess what? We built it, we did it, and now some weeks we have upwards of 80+ million, 85 million viewers. Usually it's about 45, 50 million. They know that. The New York Times did a story Monday and said, okay, he does have the billions of views on YouTube. He says he does have 40+ million a week. They went and looked. It's okay, it's true. In fact, it's probably worse than he's saying. There's more. And so, boom, we were banned off Google. And that's how they can just ban you anytime they want. They're already lowering us in the rankings. And the message to everybody else is, shut up or you'll go the way of Alex Jones. Probably done to me because they think you're cowards. And they think you'll go, oh, we better shut up. We better not say anything. In fact, I was talking just last week to one of my crew members whose son works for a large outdoor supply company, a well-known name. They on their Facebook just said something about it's good to see job numbers up, make America great again. They got banned on their Facebook that has millions of followers for a day saying, in fact, I asked him to give me the report. They told me about it. In fact, I'm going to do a report on this. I just get so busy. It said, it's not nice to upset people with political stuff. You just need to enjoy your business. Like, you're banned for a day. You like making money, being able to advertise with us and be on a platform with us. So they spend money with Facebook. We're going to ban you. You do that again. Just, you don't talk about it's good job numbers are up for the first time since 1984 at those numbers. You sit down and you shut up. So that's the point we've gotten to. So we're trying to show them the power of our audience. We can win, but you have to spread the articles, the videos, which you've been doing. You have to buy the products because that's why we don't even have a lot of big sponsors. We have our own products, which we then go out and advertise outside of the audience to come fund this operation, and that's what makes them mad. So I've already been talking to lawyers. It looks like we're going to have to sue, and I don't like to sue people, but, you know, we're sending a letter to them to back off. But I mean, you know, if I tried to set up a restaurant and wouldn't let black people eat at it, that'd be wrong, too. And I'd say, well, you're just fake news. It's not that you're black. It's that, you know, it's that you're conservative. Well, how is that okay? I'm going to go to Jordan Maxwell, our guest for the hour, a little bit in the next if you can do it. And then popping in is Leanne McAdoo and, of course, Millie Weaver to tell us what's coming up tonight when they host 2 hours. And I'm doing a Reddit Ask Me Anything when I come back at 8 o'clock tonight for an hour or so, then taking your phone calls tonight. The streams are on Facebook. The streams are on YouTube. We have our continual stream at Infowars.com/show. Jordan, I know you were coming on to talk about the globalists and their programs, and I don't know your view on this yet. I know you're hosting your own show every week, which is great, and it's good to see you, you know, taking action. You've done so much over 50 years, but clearly the mega banks are against Trump. Clearly he's trying to get small jobs going. Clearly they're trying to block him and saying kill him. I'm not saying he's perfect, and if you disagree with me, tell me. Because, you know, we're not a cult here. I want to know. But they are trying to destroy him. They're trying to destroy me. They're doing stuff behind the scenes. I know you've been through a lot as well that we don't want to talk about because it just adds to it. You know, to kind of speak it out there is what they want in their whole lesser magic paradigm. But for people that don't know how the globalists operate, are we winning with the awakening is why they're panicking? Or are they just bullying because they think they're assured of victory and, you know, their own people beating women up everywhere, banning free speech, banning books. Chalkboards are being banned at colleges because someone might write something on them. I mean, this is beyond banning books. This is banning words. It shows us this cult. Who is this cult? What do they want? Where are they taking us? Jordan Maxwell.
Well, first of all, thank you, Alex, for allowing me to be on the show. Because,
thank you, sir.
I've had so many problems getting on on shows, being shut down.
Well, let's just say it. You've been through a lot, and we're not going to get into the harassment, but JordanMaxwellShow.com. You finally got people behind you to protect you so you can get on air. JordanMaxwellShow.com. Go ahead.
Yes, and again, thank you for having me on. Back in 1967, I made a startling discovery. I was doing a lot of research back in the early 60s on all the isms, communism, Marxism, fascism, etc. And I came across something in 1967 in Glendale, California, in a library there that caught my attention because I had been for many years lecturing, starting back in 1960, 61, giving lectures and talks on the secret societies in world government, religion, etc. And I was doing some research on the Soviet Union. And I come across an article in the World Book Encyclopedia, and it was talking about the Soviet Union, Russia before the revolution, etc. And then at the bottom of the page in the World Book Encyclopedia on the Soviet Union, there was a picture, actually two pictures. One was a picture of the national coat of arms of the Soviet Union. And the second was their flag, the Soviet Communist flag. And there was a little article, maybe just a couple of sentences on both pictures. And when I read the little article about the Soviet national coat of arms, it struck me that this was something of momentous importance, but I didn't understand what it was, but I knew instinctively this is going to be important. And so I began researching the Soviet coat of arms. It's an incredible story that, and I continue to get a lot of information coming in on this all the time. But the point being is that I talked with you quite a few years ago about my work on this one subject. And exactly, that's the symbol. And you will see the reefs of wheat around the earth and the sun rising behind the earth. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Well, I discovered, the more I looked into this, that this was a subject which was being used by everyone in every culture of the world. Not just this particular picture, but the conceptual idea and the actual terms that were in the encyclopedia talking about this symbol, the words and the terms that are associated with this symbol for world communism is everywhere. It's in Hollywood, motion pictures, television shows, police departments, universities, children's cartoons in the morning.
What does it stand for? What is their end game? Because it looks like it's no language, Brave New World, a bunch of mindless zombies. So humanity just rolls over and dies. It appears to be some off-world extermination virus program to train us to kill ourselves.
It is a hidden symbol which dominates the entire world. It is in every country of the world. It is all over America, in our federal governments, our state governments, in our county and city emblems of our cities and counties. This is the most extraordinary story you're ever going to hear, Alex. I know you've heard them all, but you haven't heard.
Well, let's get into it. We've talked about this a long time ago, but the audience probably doesn't know about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you and I talked about this a long time ago, and I told you then that I wanted to do a video on this subject.
That's right, and you were actually scared to even talk about it on air, but let's just get it out there.
Yeah.
We'll do a video.
It is, that's exactly right. I was frightened because I realized the significance of how big this thing really is and what it was actually saying. And so I've done finally I got a video done. I've got two videos, but I got this one on this side here is Cosmocrats. It's dealing with this subject right now, Cosmocrats. The idea is that, well, in the Bible, in Ephesians 6:1, Christians will remember that in Ephesians 6:1, let me bring it over here so you can see it.
Not of this world.
Yes, rulers of this darkness.
We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Now, the very word rulers of darkness implies that the darkness over this earth has rulers, people who know what they're doing.
I understand. That's what the elite believe, is they're getting off-world knowledge to control people. And whether you believe in this or not, the elites do believe in it. Jordan Maxwell, you can find the new film at jordanmaxwellshow.com. Yeah, I remember Jordan was talking years ago about making a film with me, and I just, quite frankly, I'm too busy to do it. Interesting material, really key to what the globalists believe and think. But I'm glad he's got it out. I didn't know he's coming on about this today, so I'm going to ask him right now. You get it at his website. I see him nodding his head, jordanmaxwellshow.com. But whether you believe in this or not, The globalists believe they're getting off-world or interdimensional communications. They believe they're building all this under orders that they'll be given eternal life by merging with machines. Now, I would tell you that 20 years ago, people laughed. I would tell you that 10 years ago in Endgame, like 9.5 years ago. And the New York Times, even last year, made fun of me, saying he believes that they're going to merge the machines and become gods. I was quoting Ray Kurzweil. Now it's all over the news, so folks don't laugh. You see it in movies, culture, kind of Avatar, like possession, voodoo, whatever, but jacking into people. Whether you believe in this or not, the elite, that's what rituals are about, is about being possessed. So I love how they always have news articles like I'm a kook when 1 billion plus Christians believe this, Catholics believe it, the Muslims believe it, every African tribe believes it, the Japanese believe it. And of course, he's never even given his secrets out from his perspective on their research. I want to see the film here as a plug for it, but got a short segment here, a long segment coming up, Jordan. Give us the data dump. I mean, have I kind of guessed what you're getting at? Because I've done my own research, but from your own deep research, expand on this, why people need to be aware of this.
Well, because what has really just frightened me over this entire subject is the fact that the same terms and the same emblem, symbol, and terms connected to that symbol has been used all over the earth.
No, I understand. So you were saying this even before movies like Prometheus came out. You're saying everywhere this is the key symbol. What, the black sun of the Nazis? I mean, what are we getting at?
Oh, we're talking about a sunrise between two mountains. It goes back to ancient Egypt and can most likely go back even further to Hindu. But it's
sure, two stars, the sun and then another sun. That gets into the whole 2001, Lucifer being ignited.
Yes, what we generally think of as Luciferianism is a very deep subject.
It's really just alien worship, isn't it?
It's an extraordinary subject that has not really been looked at and examined fully today. But I'm telling you that there is a world of occultism already built up around us before we were born. Already in government.
Sure, it's a total language. They're even taking away our basic language. We can't even understand their language, which is openly all around us.
All of it. It's everywhere. But what frightens me is the fact that all of the American presidents since I've been alive have used that symbol, have used that term that's associated with that symbol. And then when I see all over the world leaders, institutions.
Sure, so let me bring this up. What did you think of Trump's inaugural where he said, bring God back in, bring the light back in, our birthright, human birthright, humans, the world for humans? I thought it was a major declaration against the powers of darkness.
It was, and that's why I knew. I knew with an instancy that I knew that he was going to be attacked. And I knew that he was going to have one hell of a time because he is going up against something that has been around for thousands of years.
And let's be clear, occult just means hidden. You're an occultist because you studied the occult. You're bringing it. You say, I'm an occultist. It just means we study the hidden. It's clear watching Trump, and I know you're one of the top occult experts out there. Is it not clear he knows a lot more than he's saying?
Oh, yeah. You have no idea how far deep this goes. What he's actually up against. It's so frightening when you see Hollywood making movies about this particular occult symbol, that you see it as used, the symbol and terms are used by the Communist Party, the Nazi Party, fascists throughout the world. You begin to see how this is a worldwide movement.
And it's a movement, from my research, I haven't seen your film yet, is it not a movement to create the end of humanity, exterminism, and the new man?
That is exactly what it is. It is a well-planned, ancient symbol and an idea. And as I said in the beginning,
it's like a satanic cultural transmission for us to commit suicide.
Absolutely, and it is, and it's so obvious once you see it.
Oh, it's a world-killing, interdimensional transmission.
There's no doubt about that, because of even what the scripture says. It says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the world governors and princes of the darkness, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. This is what the world does not seem to get.
And now they got the satellites in orbit
Yeah.
Building the machine. Whether you believe it or not, folks, this is what the elite believe. Look at Prometheus, all of it. They tell you that's their real religion. And the elite believe they're going to ascend to be the engineers. And this whole planet is just a bioweapons facility. And all of us, way off on the edge of the universe, a weapons factory, very dangerous. We'll be back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have got Millie Weaver and, of course, Leanne McAdoo here in studio with us, riding shotgun a little bit into the next hour when Roger Stone comes in. Then I will be back 8 o'clock tonight to do 4 hours live. We're going to do a Reddit Ask Me Anything. Massive censorship to InfoWars. Listen, crew and listeners, we've been able to expand the studios, take the talking points directly to the American people, expose the whole globalist program, have a president elected that's bringing God back into America, declaring the globalists the enemy of humanity, talking about humans' destiny in the future, not this globalist destiny of machines ending us as we know it. Trump is making it about humans again and trying to give us honor again, and can feel the spirit of humanity rising. Believe me, in my conversations, that's what we talk about, not about do this or do that. Trump is the real deal. He's not perfect, but he is totally surrounded. He has goodwill towards people. And we have been hit by the Google subsidiary group, AdRoll, one of our #1 funding mechanisms for us selling our products, not just to the listeners, but to people on the AdRoll platform. And they said, you're fake news and you're bad people. You saw the letter. It's on Infowars.com. And you're not allowed to operate or exist, so we're not taking your money. Total discrimination. Imagine they said, you're black, you're Jewish, you're a Catholic, you're, whatever. People be up in arms, there'd be a lawsuit. But I'm a conservative, I'm a libertarian, I'm a Christian, I'm a patriot. Sue me if I'm fake. No, I'm not fake. We get into esoteric things maybe once a week. The rest of it's covering what's happening in the world. Mass burnings and rapes in Sweden. The president talks about it. They say that's fake news. No, it's not. We showed you all the newspapers and news feeds. Mainstream news out of Sweden. So they don't like us because we call them. They don't like Drudge because he'll show Obama going, Obamacare is free. You can keep your doctor. Then it cuts to him 2 years later going, I never said that. They want the Federal Elections Commission to shut that down. That's what their letter said. They said, you're political and we can't take political advertising. What? I went and looked up. AdRoll does take political advertising from PACs and political parties. They were claiming I was doing it illegally as a super PAC when I'm not one because I'm promoting the Second Amendment. I sure wish I was getting money from Second Amendment groups. I do it because I believe in it, and that's what we promote. So they're saying my views are political and are under the Federal Elections Commission that doesn't even have jurisdiction. It's just made up. But see, Hillary'd been claiming that, and she'd said she wanted me and Drudge shut down. So the big enemy is Donald Trump, Matt Drudge, and Alex Jones. I'm not trying to set myself up here as one of the big kingpins in this. It just happened that way because we've built something that now reaches 45 million people conservatively a week. I'm great at reaching people. I'm bad at bringing in money. I've got millions of dollars of bandwidth cost and then hundreds of thousands of IT cost a quarter. I'm trying to build new, up-to-date sites. I'm trying to launch a lot of stuff. There's nowhere you can spend your money and fight harder. Infowarsstore.com. Go there. Get the films. Get the books. Get the non-GMO heirloom seeds. Get the water filtration. Get a 3-month supply from My Patriot, the best company out there. Get a free Alexa Pure $200+ gravity-fed stainless steel filter free. Get 33% off the colloidal silver. We've got the limited edition prints of Donald Trump, the second edition of this done in a chocolate sepia, and then no more of this print. It's totally exclusive. Those are at $19.95. I sold out a half of them once in one day and said, I'm going up to $50. Well, maybe we should just go up to fund the operation. It was at $19.95. Sounds like a lot of money selling thousands of these and making like $10. It doesn't do it when you have crews, when you actually pay people living wages, when you actually jump to the hoops and get the insurance, when you pay people to fly all over the country and open Washington Bureau. I cannot stress to you how important it is to have our people there asking questions, our people there covering the media's deception, like James O'Keefe's coming on the next few days, who's got the big network, CNN, it's the word, just all over their newsrooms, lying, cheating, deceiving. We're the real press. You need to support us. And I know you know that, but people always want to thank me. Listen, I'm not getting paid to have Jordan Maxwell on and promote a film that's his life's work. I didn't even know he was going to promote it today. I knew he'd offered to make it with me years ago, and I just couldn't get around to it. I'm not getting paid to have, people say get his new film, JordanMaxwellShow.com. I think you should get it. I want to learn all the little secrets here he's not giving out because I already know most of them separate from him, but I know he knows even more. The point is that's available right there at JordanMaxwellVideos.com. But it's all about promoting everybody. It's all about elevating the discussion. I don't want Michael Moore arrested like Dinesh D'Souza was. They're coming after us. They're getting rid of whiteboards at colleges saying writing could anger someone. It's a war on speech. Now, you ladies are going to be doing a fabulous job. I know I violated the whole cisgender rule. You
don't misgender.
Carbon-based life forms. We're going back to our guest here in a moment. We've got Paul Watson coming up after Roger Stone and former Black Ops commander Steve Pieczenik co-host with me in the next hour. We've got Millie Weaver and Aaron McBreen and Leanne McAdoo 5 to 7. So we'll have that dynamic trio in. David Knight with the produced, but also live sections of the Nightly News. And I return 8 to midnight. That's 8 to midnight to do it. Ask me anything on Reddit. I was already doing one planned weeks ago on censorship on Reddit, and Reddit saying they're going to censor pro-Donald Trump or pro-Americana or anti-TPP sentiment. That's the whole global government system. So again, we're having major victories, but we've got to sustain them. We've got to continue to move forward. And believe me, if you think they just hit us with funding we know that'll help us take us into next year, they're going to hit more stuff. So we've always been growing for 21 years. If that's in God's plan for us not to get the funds in, but let me tell you, this isn't like we're trying to make money so I get a bigger car. I love my Dodge car and my Ford truck. That's all I need. I think the house I've got's too big. This isn't about Alex Jones. It's about being strong to be able to get more great reporters and have them not be worried about money so they can focus on fighting the New World Order. And it's about really changing the planet. And we're doing that. So I want to thank all of you that have supported us. But if you haven't gone to InfoWarsStore.com, if you haven't gone taking advantage of the big sales we have to support the transmission, it's crazy. Or just go to InfoWars.com/show where you can pick up the free feeds and the podcast and send it out to everybody you know so that we get millions extra saying, this is the censored show. This is the guy everybody's attacking. Find out why they don't want you to hear it. Find out why they're shutting it all down. Spread that link. Growing the audience is one way to defeat them on our own platforms. And make a donation if you don't want to get Brain Force or Caveman or Super Male Vitality or Lung Cleanse or the Parasite Cleanse, Nature's Defense. 31 products now that we've produced, some of them private labeled, the best brand names out there, organic. More than 12 of them we actually created with the top labs in the country at very affordable prices, 25% off. Brain Force, the super popular nootropic. It's all there. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. We're going back to, of course, Jordan Maxwell. I want to come on for an hour sometime just without ads so I can put a special report out that also airs on air, but get permission from him to show some of the documents and clips in his film. We're going back to Jordan in a moment. But, ladies, I wanted to bring you here because you're in there researching, you're getting ready, you're watching this. I made a big deal out of it when the Federal Elections Commission was saying we should shut down Drudge. I'm not bragging, but I have an instinct to hang together. I'm not stupid. They were saying shut down liberals. I'd say don't do it because that's once they go, we go.
Right.
All these labels mean nothing anyways. I was really freaked out when Breitbart had its apps deleted and taken off, and by Apple's just saying you're fake news. Oh yeah, with the White House advisor and more readers than the New York Times and all the rest of it. They just label us and turn us into subhumans like Hitler did the Jews. That's what happened. They said, you can't do business. You can't speak. You can't write in the newspaper. Now, years before, they actually rounded them up. This is what they do. This is so un-American, so dangerous. And I was like a chicken with my head cut off about Reddit getting censored and Facebook starting to censor and them announcing they're going to start censoring. Only Drudge has made a big deal out of it. It's really crazy. Even Breitbart hardly makes a big deal of it. Well, listen, the hit we took's a lot bigger than Kellogg's pulling out of Breitbart. Right. That was some ad share where they were buying a few ads on there, maybe a few $1,000s a month. This is our entire outside advertising program that we'd practiced for years that was the extra money from last year to fund expansion this year. People go, oh, well, you don't need to expand. You start contracting, you die. Who wants to give in to them bullying everybody, trying to shut down free speech everywhere? Who wants to give in to them beating up women all over the country? Who wants to give in to them with Homeland characters that are me who then frame people for bombings? They say exactly what I say and then have me framing people for bombings. On fiction shows, talk about fake news. They've got fake TV hit shows admitting it's about Alex Jones saying destroy me. But there's a battle. Chris Carter himself says I'm good. The new character's based on me and says I'm doing good. So there's a battle going on, as they'd say, in the system. We'll talk about that with Maxwell, but then ride shotgun with me, ladies, into the next hour if you want. But What do you think of this being here? Leanne, you've been here almost 4 years or more. You've been here just 3 or 4 months, Millie. What do you make of being here and seeing this happen?
Well, you know, Alex, I really feel like we are seeing the beginnings of a coup attempt in America right now. All these things happening all at once, it just seems too suspicious for it all to be happening at once. You know, them attacking InfoWars, Milo Yiannopoulos, and so on and so forth.
Well, they admit they're doing it. They're launching a censorship rollout.
Right. Exactly.
So go ahead.
And, you know, what this really makes me think about is nobody ever announced who won the Cold War. So was it still going on? And are we seeing the remnants of the lasting effects of the Soviet Russians coming here with the KGB and, you know, really trying to infiltrate American grassroots groups like the Weather Underground and get these young, influential
What's funny is
people.
the Soviets did, with bankers in the U.S. funding it, come here to foment a Bolshevik-style deal that kind of failed. But the very thought processes of that, even though Russia may not be involved now, is what we're actually facing here.
Right.
And they admit this is classic Soviet-style tactics. Really great point.
Yeah. Exactly. So are we seeing this Soviet influence popping back up through people like Hillary Clinton or Obama trying to push that agenda? And is that maybe why Vladimir Putin was so against Hillary coming into power, because that could have been a hand of that old Soviet influence?
Right. We got these Antifa groups and all the fascist groups and the pro-communist groups coming out. And the thing with the doublespeak is that they are trying to steal the 1984 meme that we've been saying for years, wake up people, it's 1984, it's happening now. They're actually turning that into a protest of Donald Trump to say that Donald Trump is the embodiment of Orwell's
Exactly.
warning.
They say he's the fascist, but I loved how he was on CNN, Senator Paul, just a few days ago, and they said, yeah, Trump's trying to ban the press. And he said, Trump's never called for that.
Right.
Trump's never, there's no legislation. You're the ones, Obama signed bills to begin the takeover of the press.
Countering Disinformation and Propaganda Act right here. And him lamenting for the good old days when there was just 3 media outlets that gave people the news. It was much easier then. And we've got to stop this
And
wild,
here's how it
wild
works.
west.
If they can cut off our advertising, our ability to go in the ad market, okay, if they can cut that off, they're already kicking people off Facebook and Twitter. They're going to be able to kick us off. First, it was Milo. First, he was off Twitter. Then his advertisers. Then they took something he said out of context years ago. Why didn't they care then? Because it was all about doing it now. They're announcing now with the Republican establishment and the Democrats, we're going to censor people. And so, folks, we're the canary in the coal mine. Understand that I personally, on syndicated radio, could sit here, be in a bigger house with a private jet plane, being on over 200 radio stations. I take that money and I put it back 95% into things and built all this because I'm the only talk show host that into jet airplanes and mansions, okay? So, I do have a car, but it's made in America that goes 200 miles an hour, but it's not fancy.
And you
so
don't drive that.
Well, I deserve that Hellcat, even though it's dangerous. I'm going to get rid of it. But anyways, the point I'm getting at here is my highest thing on the hierarchy of needs is not being a peacock. That's why I'm not in New York. I'm not in L.A. And Trump talks about our enemies are in New York and L.A. Not the people, but the elites that really have a spirit of wanting to dominate and control people. I want to come back to you ladies and talk about this. But listen, folks, you thank me all the time. We need to have people absolutely go crazy because, we bring in $1 million of sales yesterday and today, but the discounts we have, that might be $400,000. We just lost probably $5 million this year by them killing this. We did $3.3 million to fund things last year. It's one of our major initiatives to fund things. They start blowing off our legs and they get successful, it will make them come in. I got to file suit or make them back off. I mean, I'm cornered here. You understand? I had to expand because I knew if you didn't expand in the face of what I was dealing with 10 years ago, I'd be defeated. We got big enough to get through their shockwave and really change the world. And they know that. Folks, hundreds of publications a week say, shut us up. So understand, we are your champion one way or the other. And so if you just spread the articles, the videos, if you just save the articles, start your own shows, call into C-SPAN, whatever you do, get more active and more involved now. We're going to lose it all. Jordan, I promise to have you back up in the near future to do a special report just on your new film. Please send me a copy. I got blindsided by this, didn't know it was out, looks amazing. But just in a nutshell, what can you say about free speech and why they're bringing in the Islamicist and why they're trying to ban, criticizing? I mean, they have a bill they want to introduce to ban Trump having free speech. That was on CNN. I mean, they're so authoritarian. What's happening?
First of all, Alex, the two charming young ladies brought up a very important point, and that's exactly what's going on, is that there is a connection here between Hillary, Obama, and the old Soviet empire, the old Soviet concepts and ideas, because the people who financed the old Soviet empire for the Russians are the same people who are financing all of this stuff now against. Well,
it's funny you said that because the documents are coming out that these globalists are funding Russia and the United States. It's the same corporatist line, and that's why they threatened in Foreign Affairs and in public policy publications last week to Putin. Trump's for real about ending globalism, and you're part of it. You better watch it. That was a deep threat to Putin.
Yeah, as I said, I've got something that I found a long time ago that the more I see it, the more I cannot believe how overwhelmingly in
Well, tell us the name of the two DVD film. Explain to us, but give us one of the big secrets right now. People will get it, but just tell us because I want to know.
Well, the most important of the two videos is called Cosmocrats, because it goes back to the word in the Greek in the Bible where it says the rulers of this darkness. Rulers of darkness in the Greek was cosmokrateros. And I came across that word many years ago, cosmokrateros, which in Greek means rulers of world darkness. But it gives us our word today, cosmocrats, because cosmos is world and krats are rulers, like democrats and plutocrats.
These world rulers.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we are told in the Bible that there are people who are here who are the gods of the darkness on the earth. There are people here who are making it dark purposely and deceiving the human family. And it has
that means spiritual and physical. Have you noticed NASA says the Earth's now 30% darker because of the chemtrails?
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So the video I wanted to create many years ago, we talked about it. I finally got it done. It's not an MGM musical, but it does have.
It doesn't matter. I'll tell you, the cover looks amazing. Show it to TV viewers again.
Yeah, it's got extraordinary.
Well, Jordan, I'll fly you out here to be in studio and do a whole special report with it anytime you want, brother. I mean, as long as we have the funds, who knows how long we'll be here now. A lot of people are going to be celebrating.
You will be shocked when you see what I have what I have assembled here from Hollywood, from television, from presidential.
Oh yeah,
speeches.
Clearly they're programming us. Clearly they're getting us ready. But I mean, bottom line, what's their end game? I mean, I'm correct. It's establish world government, exterminate the population, merge the machines.
Yes, basically, it's a well-laid plan that was explained a long time ago. There are documents that explain exactly how these people.
By the way, I didn't know your view of Trump. I didn't even know you'd seen his inaugural speech, but. And then some of my private conversations, it's all about the spirit of humanity, bringing humanity back, making the world for people. He doesn't, obviously you're talking to him. He knows he's being recorded, but he's like, we're going to be pro-people. We're going to build a world for people. Robots aren't getting the jobs, Alex. The whole thing's anti-human, and Trump gets it. And I tweeted what he was going to say in his speech before he did it. I just knew it. And then he said, we're calling God back in, light back into the world, a world for humans, a world of justice, but humans must ask for the destiny, and God will give us the providence. And that's asking for, again, what the elite are trying to block. And again, if you don't believe this, it's fine. I'm not even saying I believe it totally. I'd say what they believe. We have to ask God's free will. The devil and his fallen legions are not free will. They con, they take over, they disease you, they drug you, they manipulate you. They're the rulers of the world, God of this world right now. You got to ask God in, then you get the transmission, the discernment, all the will, the download you need to beat them, but you've got to ask for the download. Is that accurate, Jordan?
Absolutely. You have to, and you also have to be active in this. You have to be able to talk to people and show them the proof. And that's what I've done here. I've collected all the documents, the photos, the pictures, and tied all the pieces together, showing that what's happening in America and on the earth today has been planned a long time ago.
Sure. Let me ask you a selfish question. Let me ask you a selfish question here. Personally, Chris Carter contacted us and said, hey, and, well, we've talked some, but we're going to put the new X-Files is based on you. I think you're a good guy. I think you're really fighting this evil. They put it out. It's overall pretty positive, exposes the evil stuff that's going on, that the elite are combined with a, really nasty devil to try to take down humanity. And then, who knows, the show was a hit. Who knows if it even gets to go to a season. Now they have Homeland, that's another big hit, where they literally admit it's me, but had me saying these things, and then I cause horrible things to happen. I need to be taken off the air. That's basically, and then Hillary's the president. And this was all being produced when they thought she'd be president months ago. So I want to selfishly, just you're a smart guy, ask you, this is on drudgereport.com today as well, what you make of this. Homeland's Alex Jones character is a lame attempt to smear InfoWars. Let's go ahead and play just one clip of they literally plagiarize what I say, but in the episode, I'm getting innocent Muslims arrested for bombings that I'm basically behind. So this is the deal. They don't only take my words, they call me fake news. They have large productions acting like me, but his name's O'Keefe. That in visually as well.
Yes. Now, hold up now. Keith Olbermann's stealing your thing, so, I mean, they could turn this whole thing around and say it's him at this point. He's the resistance.
Yeah, we were always that's the thing. I mean, Jordan, I'm not on a power trip. It's the opposite. You're an old sage at this. What position do you think we're in? Because it's like the gates of hell have opened. I mean, hundreds of articles a day lying about us, false quotes, Megyn Kelly lying, playing clips. I'm talking about Hillary funding Islamist killers in Syria. They say I'm saying she's killing kids under a pizza place. I mean, what is going on?
Well, I'm not promoting myself on this, Alex, but I'm telling you, if you see my video where I have a symbol, all of the people saying the same things from all over the world.
Sure, they're clearly part of a global cult who believes they're getting off-world information. I mean, I went back to Huxley and Wedgwood and Galton, the guys that came up with all the modern sciences in England. They all believe they were channeling off-world info. And here's the problem. They saw the double helix. They saw biometrics. They saw it. They saw it. Jordan, is that what you're getting at?
Yep, absolutely. But I'm just saying, it's only until you yourself see and people collectively see for the first time how these symbols and words are used all over the world.
Sure, then they'll see it everywhere. Then they'll understand it. All right, Jordan, we'll talk to you soon. I appreciate that. Jordan's an awesome guy. He wanted to make that film with me, and I said, yeah, sure. And we never got around to it. I didn't know it was being a thing about the film today.
No,
but I mean, because I'm here just explaining that whether you believe the elite believe they're doing all this off-world stuff or not, they believe it, and we're under major political attack. They're trying to shut InfoWars down.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan. That is the platform for so many other people. So, I mean, what do you guys make of that?
Well, I mean, this is something that I've always said, and what I believed and why I was, dedicated my life to this purpose right here, to waking people up. And I truly believe it's not just about letting people realize that the programming and turning off the television set and helping people to understand that it's the frequency that's messing with our brains, messing with our humanity, messing with our inner frequency.
Everything they're doing is to hurt us.
Yes, but see, it's not that there is off-world information coming to these people to give them the technology of control. And we are fighting against.
We're on a freaking planet in the middle of space, and the elite all believe it. And they were given stuff 170 years ago that they made. Right. Atomic weapon equations, everything.
Right.
Like what is going on here?
Well, here's the thing. We as human beings, we're
antennas.
We are manifestation machines. That is what we do. God created us to be
in the image of
creators.
God.
We are creators.
And we're electrochemical. Our DNA is an antenna, and we're picking up good stuff and bad stuff.
And as long as they can control our thoughts and program us and tell us what the world is supposed to look like, then we will take that information and say, yes, I agree. And
exactly. And notice we're awake.
Right.
We know what's going on to a certain level. They don't care about us. They just keep hammering, going, this new Homeland show's about Alex Jones, but he's crazy. It's not about him. And Obamacare is free, even though it's not. They just keep, the message is the medium. The message is dumb you down. Right. They send you a dumb message on purpose. I want to come back and ask you where you think this is going. I want you guys to co-host with myself and Roger Stone coming up for the rest of the hour. You got to get suited up and ready because you're hosting for several hours tonight. We need the funds, folks, to help us or spread the links. Whatever you do, they're trying to shut us down. If they can get us, they're going to shut everybody down and they're going to win. Leanne was asking during the break, can't I sue the production company or Showtime for stealing my identity, taking my words, and then having the person clearly meant to be me, then have him do horrible things and set up innocent people and be a criminal. I'm a public figure. I'm a big boy. They can probably get away with that. But here's the difference. Google then, in an organized deal with AdRoll and other big companies, can't go around and openly talk about how they want to shut down conservatives and libertarians and alt-right, which then means everybody, ban us from advertising on the internet, making up crap that we're violating laws or something and not showing what we've done. Okay, this is a clear, organized operation. That's where it's wrong. But I'll tell you this. Homeland has stolen my identity. Then they slap O'Keefe's name on it to get another enemy they've got. And it's the idea of someone impassioned warning you about an Islamic invasion when this morning I watched Paul Washington's video, The Truth About Sweden, last night. And I went and said, you know, I remember hearing about those rapes. I never went and watched those on purpose because I don't like that. And I watched the real rapes of those women gasping and fighting and panicking and crying and finally giving up while those Arabs were raping them and the police did nothing in Stockholm. Perfect Stockholm syndrome. And it fundamentally made me sick. I got like heat flashes. I've never been so pissed that I was actually getting heat flashes wanting to kick somebody's ass. And it's not like I've been trying to impress women. I'm the opposite of a rapist. It fundamentally pisses me off so much to see that kind of crap and the type of elites that would bring these people in and then try to silence the women and try to say Trump's wrong. And these women are fighting for their lives, like suffocating with like 10 guys on top of them, begging and crying, being raped. And I have daughters. It fundamentally, I'm just, what the hell's going on here?
Yes, and that's why they want to silence you, because you dare speak out on that. And we have Soros and other people funding groups so that they can control the French elections now, because they can't allow what happened here in the United States as well as with Brexit. They can't allow those pillars of globalism to be dismantled worldwide.
Exactly. But let me ask you this. Why would they want to bring in a bunch of people from collapsed third world countries where women wear hoods and are sold on slave blocks and bring them in and let them rape and murder people? What the hell's going on?
I think it's even beyond order out of chaos. I mean, it's truly it's darkness or
it's a ritual.
Yes, it's trying to push forward the end times.
And the left, by even backing these Muslim refugees to come in here, along with ISIS members, they don't realize that when they're out there on the streets trying to, sing the call to prayer, the Muslim call to prayer, they don't actually realize that in their religion, women are not allowed to sing the call to prayer. Well, they would actually be beaten.
They're a one-half person.
Blasphemy for that.
And again, these are rock concerts held for the immigrants that are anti-racism deals. And these women, beautiful women, go out and they literally get gang raped by these demon men. I mean, it's like, I'm going to be honest, I want to just...
Well, I don't know if that happens.
That ain't going on in Texas, and people are not going to be,
Well, they've got the rape bracelets now, so that's supposed to stop the raping. They give them the bracelets, and they wear it, and it says no.
I mean, as a man, this makes me have like a rage attack. It's not talk about triggered. What is it like for women to watch? Have you seen this stuff?
Yes. If I see those videos, I truly get panic attacks. I cry. It like melts me down. I mean, as women, we've probably had to deal with at least the slightest little bit of sexual harassment that you don't want, unwanted advances. I've dealt with much more than that. So it's like panic inducing.
Yeah, you get ringing in the ears, nauseous stomach. The best thing to do.
Well, I have daughters, and I see these women held down, flailing, begging, stop raping me, and these assholes are doing it, and they all need to be killed. But no, it's all being covered up. It's all, and then like Trump talks about it, and they go, the left all makes jokes and says, what happened in Sweden last night?
Yeah.
Colbert, I'll knock your goddamn teeth out, excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, gee, I'll be violent tomorrow. They'll just say I said that to Colbert. Yeah, go over there, Colbert, and preside over the women getting gang raped by a bunch of animals, and then tell me that you don't deserve to have your teeth knocked out, you son of a bitch, because you're the real coward covering up for it. Sorry, go ahead. We'll be right back with you ladies. All right, Roger Stone's going to be joining us here in a few minutes, co-hosting in this hour. We're going until midnight tonight because we got word from AdRoll, not AdBlade. That's another internet advertising company we work with. They're actually good folks. AdRoll was fine the last 3 years until they sent us a letter saying, sorry, you may have made $3.3 million with us last year. Now that's gross, but we had products we were selling. That helps fund our operation. You are fake news. You are banned. You are not human. You are black. You can't come eat at our store. You are gay. We will not bake you a cake. You are conservative, which I'm not. I'm a libertarian patriot. You're dehumanized. We call you political. We can't take political advertising, which they actually do. But they said we're not, the proper political pack. Me promoting water filters and the Second Amendment, and that's political? No. See, they're calling everything under campaign laws political. But with Millie Weaver and Leanne McAdoo got really upset during the break. I got upset because I saw Paul talking about Swedish rapes and how they were covering them up in the news. I thought, I never went and watched any of those. I saw people getting their Facebook suspended for even talking about it. Let me go watch them at rock concerts that are anti-racism concerts. And I watched like an 11-minute tape, and we're not going to show the actual parts here, but just her face for a second, with like 10 Muslim men from North Africa, these are mainly Moroccans, that's out of the island, raping her, and she's begging and pleading for air and screaming, stop, stop, in Swedish, and they are just raping the daylights out of her. The police and the Swedish men did nothing because they're liberal beta males, and so they've had to cancel these concerts because they became rape fest. And you'll see her face come up for air here in a minute. She's begging. We're not going to show, again, we're not showing the other parts. This is all online, and these guys taped this themselves. Look at her. She's just begging, and they got her all held down and raping her and keeping people away. This is the new liberal sacrament. This is the new system. So we have to talk about it, even though it's uncomfortable. I have daughters. It's got to be exposed. I hear about this Western rape culture that's supposedly so prolific when I know it's rare in the West compared to other countries. Islamic countries, a woman not wearing a hood unattended is rape bait. And if you speak out and file a report, you get the adultery charge and executed. And Leanne's crying about this right now, but we have to face this and deal with the torture of these women. And why would the media say Trump's lying when he was talking about the mass rapes that happened in the nights before? They, like lawyers, they went, didn't happen last night, nothing happened, but then the next night they burned part of Sweden. So and they're burning Paris, they're burning everything right now. Leanne, go ahead.
No, it really truly gives me like.
I know it's hard to watch.
I can't watch it.
Yeah, but we got to talk about it because they want us just to submit to it. So go ahead.
No, it's terrible. And that's the thing I just don't understand is how you can say you're for women and you're for equality. And then for whatever reason, almost overnight, they flip it around. And now all of a sudden it's okay to rape little kids because that's their culture. And it's okay to, we'll let you off easy because you were having a sexual emergency. And that's why you had to rape a child or rape women, because you're sexually frustrated. What the hell is going on? It's complete madness. It makes no sense. And
well, Islam is so satanic in its current form that the New World Order loves it and is merged with it.
Well, you have these
the pedophile left likes Islam.
Idiot feminists.
We have Roger yet? Keep going. Okay, he was on Skype video. I saw it went away. No, I'm keep going, Leanne. I didn't mean to interrupt. But
it's just like you have idiot feminists like putting the hijab on. At least you had Marie Le Pen the other day refuse and walk out of the meeting because she refused to put
and she'd met with that imam before. They told her
that's
this time,
real feminism.
Yes, and this is exactly
talk about
what
that.
Women...
Talk about exactly Marie Le Pen.
Marie Le Pen. So she refused to put the headscarf on to just have a conversation with this imam or I forget his name. Mufti. And she walked out. She said no. And the look on her face too was just like. No, it was like not like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to go now. I apologize. That's not my religion.
She said I refuse to cover myself.
She was like, whatever. I don't need this meeting with this person. Screw you. And that is true feminism, not backing down or knocking a peg out of your equality.
And it's French women that are about to elect her.
We have fought hard for equality. So you don't tell me, oh, well, now you need to come bow down in front of me or put the headscarf on in order to just be in my presence. She didn't tell him to go eat some bacon before she went to talk to her. Like, okay, exactly. You want to be equal here.
The liberal feminists are too deluded to realize what real oppressed women looks like. And this video shows you exactly what an oppressed woman looks like. The videos of the women in these Muslim nations where they're being stoned to death and killed and murdered in the streets for no reason. Oh, you didn't have a headscarf? We're going to kill you.
You dared to walk to the store without a male escort?
Yeah, we're going to kill you. If you don't have 2 or 3 male witnesses to your rape, well, then you're going to be beheaded. You're going to be killed because we're going to accuse you of being sexual without.
And did you see Sunday? Did you see in New York thousands marching, feminist rallies saying Allah Akbar, moment of prayer, and women leading prayers? And,
but they'll never show you the pictures of the women who have been covered head to toe in acid that they've had thrown on them in these honor killings or
watching them rape that woman and the police.
Raped. It's Stockholm syndrome. It's almost as though the liberals are so fearful, they're such betas that they're trying to, almost convince these Muslims, oh, don't attack us. We love you. See, we're tolerant. We're doing the call of prayer, not knowing that actually having a woman do the call to prayer is blasphemy, and it would actually provoke them to attack
my daughters aren't wearing any of this crap, so that's just the end of it. I want you guys to ride shotgun. He's got Dr. Jerome Corsi coming up at the bottom of the hour. He didn't have his full crew today, so he wanted me to co-host with him, so that's why I'm kind of boarding Roger Stone's hour. Paul Watson's coming up in the next hour. We're having to do a 13-hour emergency broadcast because I had $3.5 million or so budgeted as profit we had last year to expand the D.C. Bureau, to do all this stuff. Now, we have that money for this year. They just took away. Google just banned us. You have to go through ad roll to be on Google. For new listeners just tuned in, we're going to Roger Stone here in a moment. And they just came in and said, when we showed the letter, it's on Infowars.com, Drudge link to it. They said, you are fake news. You are political. No political stuff's allowed. They take political ads. They let the left call for killing people. We were just advertising water filters and nutraceuticals and non-GMO heirloom seeds. They were actually pissed because liberals were buying our stuff. And so after 3 years with them, it was set to be 5 million this year on the graph. It was 3.3 million, 2016. They said that you violated this. So here's the deal. If they don't do this to everybody else that violates that broad term to mean anything's political, then they are discriminating and racketeering and can be held accountable. They play this mind game where they go, oh, it's our policy, our company, we can do what you want. No, they hold Facebook and Twitter and Google and everything out as a commons, but they've met with Hillary, they've met with the globalists, they admit a plan to shut down our speech, to shut down Drudge under the Federal Elections Commission, where Drudge, they want him to be totally scared to even leak to anything. This is the bullying horse crap that's going on. And now, yeah, they got a good lick on us. Okay, so I want to thank the listeners for support. We're selling stuff discounted prices to try to make some of this back. And because let me tell you, they're going to try to cut more stuff off. The president needs to move and expose. No, they're not just kicking his daughter out of stores with her clothes. That's boycotting. That's one thing. That's bullying. They are not letting us have access to the market and saying we're subhuman. Okay? And so get your brain force, get your silver bullet, get your Roger Stone, Making of the President 2016, get your caveman paleo, get your Hillary for President 2017. But I want to ask Roger Stone joining us because I want to launch a whole deal with more shows, working with GCN. I got a whole plan. But here's the deal. I go out and I follow all their rules. I have the most milquetoast, because we know we're targeted by the FDA too. They got articles saying have the FDA come after us. We go the most high quality, grass certified, that's a congressional rule, supplements there are. And then we follow all the rules. We don't make claims. Then they won't even let us advertise those or water filters on Google. You say, well, go somewhere else. Google's like 60% of the damn web. They've been allowed to have antitrust laws violated, and Trump should go after them now. And not to shut down Google, just make them, if you're renting a place at the mall and I've got a good business, you better rent me a damn space, okay? And that's what this is. And you approved our ads, and you don't even tell us what we violated. And then you try to destroy us and an admitted plan to shut us down. If that isn't nasty, racketeering, mafia crap, exactly what the Nazis did to Jews and others in Nazi Germany, I don't know what is. So donate, Infowars.com/show. They got impersonation shows on Homeland where they act like they're me and then say horrible things. I want to go to Roger Stone right now. We're going to skip this break so we have more time, and the one at 50 after. Because they're making, and this isn't drama. If people knew what was going on behind the scenes.
We need money, but skip the break. If we
don't change this, yeah, well, that's the network too, and it's advertisers, and that doesn't even bring in. Most of them aren't my sponsors, and I can't approve them, and I don't like it, so that's a whole other issue. And I love the network. They're great folks, but I added more hours. I make 98% of the network's money, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, and I love Ted and everybody else. The point is, there won't be a show soon if they get away with this. Obama signed a law 2 weeks before Trump got into presidency saying the CIA will take over the media and we'll use regulations and the Federal Elections Commission and the FCC to shut down everybody. And they've named me and they've named Drudge and they've taken the sponsors from Breitbart and they've kicked Breitbart's apps off the frickin' iTunes store. You pay for it, they approve it, and then they say your speech is evil. We ban it outside of a court. Well, guess what? You're getting your asses sued off, and I've got to sue people now. Okay, because this is BS. Now, I'm ranting, Roger, but let me tell you, we're kicking their ass. They know it. You said that New York Times article was important. Yeah, it was a blueprint. They're passing around going, okay, he does have billions of listeners a year. Ban this son of a bitch. So what do we do, Roger? Because it ain't about just getting money today. They're going to launch more attacks. We've got to stop them, but we got to get the funds while we're in the battle, get resupplied. We're in an info war. They are cutting off our supply lines of our whole plan to launch a Washington bureau. What do we do?
Well, Alex, stop mincing words. Tell us how you really feel. I agree with everything you said. It's egregious. It is their blueprint. They have their head.
They've already censored you off all the major goddamn networks. Excuse me, Lord. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize to Christ. Go ahead.
It's okay. First of all, let me salute the two ladies that you're with there who are real journalists doing real reporting. And who show you what a real feminist looks like, someone who is for real equality and fairness. So,
and not afraid to be feminine. The feminists are supposed to be ugly and not throw around that goddess power. That's why they banned Wonder Woman. They said she's too feminine.
Too feminine.
They should really be called masculinists because there's nothing really feminine about today's modern day feminine.
Give me Wonder Woman and the whole world's waiting for you and the power you possess. Sorry, go ahead. Roger, tip your camera down a little bit. We want to see that sharp suit. That's more than a pinstripe. Is that like little pin dot suit? What do you call that?
This suit is probably older than your oldest child, Alex. It was made by a legendary Italian tailor on Fifth Avenue.
I like it.
His name was Nino Spano, and he had kind of a Neapolitan shoulder, but a fullness through the chest and back of a softer Anderson and Shepherd type London model. So it was kind of British tailoring with an Italian flair.
I like it. That may be your best suit, I tell you. But seriously, I'm ranting and raving. I'm so pissed off that, I had to leave yesterday. I'm genuinely pissed. I shouldn't have these. But, I just got robbed for $5 million this year. It was 3.3 we made last year, but it was $5 million we'd make this year to fight the globalists. This is a major frickin' blow, man. I'm pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, Alex, I myself learned yesterday that the FISA court approved a surveillance of yours truly over a year ago. That means...
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. They sent me an email of huge breaking news. I apologize. Let's break this down right now. Yeah, start over.
Alex,
this is huge breaking news with Roger Stone.
That I guess it's called the FISA court or the FISA court approved government surveillance of yours truly over a year ago. I'd like to know on the basis of what evidence, in other words, a Hillary Clinton press release, a clipping in the newspaper. So my civil rights have been, my civil rights and my civil liberties have been violated by this intrusion into my privacy. They may have learned many, many things, but I'll tell you what they didn't find: collusion or connections or contacts with any Russians. The fact that the warrant has leaked from the court is a crime itself. So now they're leaking it to destroy the good character of Roger Stone and Paul Manafort, and this poor chap, Carter Page, who is unknown to me. The mugging here is extraordinary.
Meanwhile, I was talking to former congressman, head of the major committees, Homeland Security, vice head of the Armed Services, saying, oh, it's Hillary's a Chinese and Russian spy. It's already come out, but I'm going to expose it the next few days with Dr. Jerome Corsi, who's coming up. This is just bombshell. It's well known that they're Russian and communist Chinese agents. Then they got the nerve to claim this with you. You get poisoned with polonium, and then they never show the proof. They always just say, oh, well, we know they were in contact, but I've talked to you and everybody. This is horse manure.
Well, in fact, Dr. Corsi has done incredible investigative work tying John Podesta and Hillary Clinton and John's brother, Tony, to incredible dealings with the ruling clique and the power brokers around Putin. The uranium deal, which was a Tony Podesta deal, is, I think, well known thanks to...
Sure, and they never would have released...
New York Times piece on it.
Sure, and they would have released this stuff on you if they had something. They keep recycling now 4 times in the last 4 months. Every month, the same thing. We've got him. He's with the Russians, and you're literally here just laughing at him. No one ever accused you of this before. There's no evidence. They would have used it if they had it. They just keep recycling it.
Right.
Well, and let's just review it. In this story of January 20th, morning of Donald Trump's inauguration, a story that I am convinced was placed for the purpose of aggravating him, kicking him in the shins, alleged that there were email transmissions and financial transactions that the 17 intelligence agencies, they love to use that one over and over again, all Obama appointees, all neocons, all part of the rogue operation that is the Central Intelligence Agency, had this information. Where is it? Where can we?
Yeah, you want to go before Congress, and they said they were going to call you, but you get hit with polonium. Then that's all confirmed. They don't even want to cover it. Listen, it's not in the news that AdRoll and Google banned me. You'd think that's their big victory, but they know it's so so oppressive that they don't want their censorship campaign to be known. They just want to call for it and have it happen quietly. The problem is we're not going quietly into the night. So where do you expect all this to go?
Well, Alex, let me put it to you another way. Every phone conversation that you and I have had over the last year, and there have been many, I'm happy to say.
But I told you they were always recording.
As monitored it, but the brazen nature of this is outrageous.
Roger, I've had them pop on and threaten me and my family before, believe me, and tell me where I was 5 minutes before. It's all part of the psyop, man. Hey, you're now really arrived now, man.
Well, it's a list I prefer not to be on, but of course the point here is that I know that Donald Trump and Roger Stone and Paul Manafort, and I've read Mr. Carter's quickie book and his denials, have nothing to fear from a real, unbiased, fair investigation that lets everyone speak. Any charge against me would have to be a fabrication. I expect none. I'm consulting, as you are with your attorneys, with mine to see what, I mean, this is destroying my good character through the leak of the existence of this.
Let's just say it. Let's just say it. Hey, it's lawsuit time, my friend.
Well, look, I am privately consulting a very respected and esteemed former judge whose name I can't reveal, Andrew Napolitano, as to what my legal options may be.
Well, listen, I've had them say in the news I'm a Russian agent. I mean, the only Russian connection I have is Daria's a U.S. Army veteran, a great patriot. She's Russian. But, I mean, my family fought the Russians in covert stuff, I know. I don't know the details. It's all classified. But, I mean, this is the craziest crap I've ever heard. Trump's trying to make our country great, bring back our sovereignty, stop the globalist. And they just keep pushing this narrative because it's their excuse to keep commanding brigades within the deep state, which even Limbaugh admits is now doing this now, to take action. I think they're losing, though, when Limbaugh is exposing rogue elements of the CIA. But I've got to tell you, I'm not a guy that wants martial law and some kind of civil war. We're already in one. And I think the president should go out and prepare the ground for mass arrest of the people that are trying to kill him, trying to overthrow the country, trying to sell us out. I think it's time the president take the gloves off. He tried to fix the economy. He's trying to move forward and be a good guy. They're openly in the newspaper saying kill him. He's got to do basically what Lincoln did, and it's time to crack eggs. I think it's time the president take the gloves off and be Abraham Lincoln big time.
Well, Alex, I think he's on his way to do that. This upcoming speech is very important. I think he is finding his sea legs. The treachery of the mainstream media is beyond what even he could have foreseen. The vituperation, the smears, the lies, the
Oh, he gave a speech and he went, everybody else can have coal but us, and it's totally clean. Why does that hurt anybody? Just let us have a country. He just is so good, he doesn't get we're supposed to be screwed. So if this is a Russian agent, we need more of this.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely. Look, I think that his leadership qualities are beginning to come, to the core. I think he is lonely. He is working very hard, longer hours than he put in at his desk at the Trump organization. Even after he retires to the family quarters, he is working the phones like Lyndon Johnson. CEOs he's trying to coax into expanding here, political friends from...
I agree. It's like watching a lion fight 1,000 wild dogs and hyena. I'm not trying to lionize him. He's a lion. I am lionizing him. It's literally epic because I'm in a lower level experiencing the same thing. So is Roger.
Right.
And it's like, you could join them and screw everybody over and they leave you alone, but I don't want to be in the company of these people. I don't want to join with evil and screw America over. I can't do it. They call me a chump. Then they say I'm a traitor. And by the way, Roger, I forgot they've banned you. I was reading off ad roll as well. There is a major purge where that's how you're supposed to fund your website. You put out content, people link to it, and then you make a little money. They're literally putting us into an electronic ghetto.
Yeah, no, out of the blue, I was invited to go on MSNBC, so this surprised me because I, of course, have banned there as far as
You've been banned for a year and a half. They announced on air you were banned.
Yes, so I had an excellent interview with Chris Hayes, He was aggressive, as is fair. It was a fair, balanced interview, and I appreciated being invited. Then I was invited by Ari Melber, who I have always also had a fair...
Well, let's hear how this ties into Ed Roll, because what happens is if you're big in the news, you get banned. It's like they go, oh, there's the target. And they're all like hopping up and down. Literally put us on the street. So we'll be right back. Roger Stone, StoneColdTruth.com. Donate to us, folks. Infowars.com/show. Donate.
The Empire's on the
I want to beat them. I need the funds. I'll turn these ladies loose on them. Can you imagine if they announced if you're a liberal, you can't have ads on any Google platform. You can't even buy them. We're going to kick you off and ban you. Can you imagine, they won't let gay people bake a cake so they get sued and everything. I say bake their cake. The point is, we're being discriminated against much more. They're openly calling for it everywhere. I wanted to get Dr. Steve Pieczenik. I got to go to some meetings, and I'm coming back tonight, 8 to midnight, live. Reddit Ask Me Anything. Reddit is censor starting. They got TV shows on Showtime. People playing me and saying horrible things in my name and admitting it's me and laughing at me. I mean, I'm not bitching. We're definitely in a war. We're having a big effect. I just want the listeners to understand it's your support and your action they're really scared of. So, there's a lot that Stone wants to get into. I forgot the fact that, we're in the FISA court. Everything he's doing is being listened to. Yeah, don't worry, Roger. They only start talking about FISA if they want to use something in the media. We're all being listened to. I've been sitting there with people before, and the CIA calls them up on the phone and says, watch what you're saying. Because the guy I'm talking to is, CIA, and I don't mean CIA analyst. I mean CIA daisy, pushing machine. And, that's the real world we live in here. I don't say all that to act informative or even impressive. It just is a fact. It is information. And I'm just a good American that wants to cut taxes and have Federal Reserve loans to small businesses and to have sovereignty and be strong again. You've got a bunch of people that have chips on their shoulders that want to just sell us out to any foreign interest that have run the country in the ground. Maxine Waters thinks that, again, Russia attacked North Korea or South Korea last week. She thinks Bush is still in office. I mean, I used to hear Pieczenik and stuff like 15 years ago. They're a bunch of incompetents. I'm like, oh, no, they're like masterminds. No, it's worse. Yeah, we have her saying, and Trump's entire cabinet are, quote, scumbags. Cue that up in a minute.
Yeah.
I've got to go. I'm just here saying, I want to hear from Pieczenik, and I want to get into all this other stuff, the campaign for censorship, Trump's upcoming speech, Reince Priebus' latest moves. He's got a lot of big data he was telling me before we got on air, and he hadn't even got to it yet, so hope Pieczenik can kind of laser beam in here quick as well. The FISA court authorized surveillance of key communications of him a year ago. How did you learn that? And then I want to ask Pieczenik before I leave. Ladies, pop in any time. This is a roundtable discussion. How did you learn that you're being spied on by the National Security Agency?
It was reported several places in the mainstream media. Andy McCarthy spoke of it openly in public, which was widely covered.
Yeah, so that's illegal to even talk about it. Okay, so.
All right. So I went immediately to Judge Napolitano, who was horrified. Just the fact that they got an authorization and that there were 3 individuals, and it was confirmed that I was one of them. It's obviously they see me as an enemy of the deep state. They know of my great support and affection and relationship with the president.
They're getting rid of everybody that's Americana that they know gives Trump comfort. That's why they're blocking all the comments that are positive to him. It's why they don't want him answering the phones. It's why he sits there at night answering the switchboard, the big secret nobody wants you to know, because he really does care. They call that a weakness, that he really likes average people because he's a blue-collar billionaire like his dad was. And I think we've said it. They're trying to cut him off. I want to bring up Dr. Pieczenik, and then I got to go. Then you guys all have a free-for-all, but let the ladies get in, too. Doc, what do I do? You used to run Black Ops, been involved in all sorts of regime changes. I know you're confident we're beating them, but right now, they are blowing the living hell out of my operation financially. I've talked to lawyers. They say we've got serious lawsuits. I don't love lawsuits, but I guess I've got to do it. Dr. Pieczenik, I mean, what do you make of all this? This is just outrageous. How he's a Russian spy, they're spying on him. All this is going on. And now Google won't take our ads. It's happened to Stone. Stone didn't get to that yet. I mean, they've called for this purge. The president needs to come out and say, you back off, Google and others, or we're going to slap you with antitrust. Google's already had a trust under Obama. I am sick of these people like Zuckerberg and Schmidt believing I don't have free speech, trying to ruin, America and have one-sided deals. But look at TPP was meant to screw over the average American business person. So Dr. Pieczenik, quick comment on that, and then I want to let you guys take over.
For the most part,
you have been the voice, Roger's the voice, but in many ways, this is a reflection of what happened during the Nixon administration, where everybody called him crazy or anti-Semitic, none of which was true. When Google plays with you and decides to interfere with your business, that is major impediment of commerce. Google knows that. That's going to stop. The hidden government, remember what I said a long time ago. We have a division within the so-called hidden government. I can assure you that Roger Stone, Alex Jones, is seen very favorably by those who I work with. Does it mean I'm being surveyed and I've been, monitored since? I said yes, because there's no problem when I'm being monitored and I feel comfortable with the people whom I deal with. Now, for 30 years, both the CIA and military intelligence has been concerned about our country. Now what we have is a backlash from those in the CIA and elsewhere who feel that they've been taken advantage of, they've been co-opted, and correctly, we counter-couped with people who were loyal to you, Alex, loyal to Roger Stone, and understood both the Nixon and Reagan administration. So what you're seeing now within the deep-seated community or the so-called secret government is an internal fight that I've been telling you about for 15 to 20 years, but it's come out to the forefront.
And you predicted it, so I'm asking you, I know it's top people and Obama left behinds that are doing it. They're in open rebellion. Tillerson's trying to clear them out. I know we've got good people. That's why Maxine Waters is so pissed calling them scum bags, because they know they're starting to lose. I'm just telling you, I'm the president just for himself and everybody else. They're waging war against his kids, his businesses. I'm not looking for authoritarianism, but we're getting attacked. It's time to punch back against these assholes. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you guys take over, but...
The ultimate irony. Alex, if you go to the ACLU, and I think this is exactly what you should do, and ask the ACLU to protect you vis-a-vis Google and Amazon and anybody on the internet, and then file a suit for violation of the First Amendment, Second Amendment, any amendment, and the impediment to do business, let's see what happens. In other words, let's not get upset about the left. Let's use it. ACLU should be prepared to defend you and anyone else on the political
Sure,
spectrum.
I agree, and we're going to do that. But let me ask you this. It seems like a super bold move. From talking to your big sources, I've got some high-level ones as well. I think we're winning right now, restoring the republic. But, how serious is the civil war in the deep state? Where's it going? I'm going to turn this over to Roger Stone and, of course, McAdoo and the other crew members. Go ahead.
Well, Roger is aware of something like this because it happened within Nixon. From my perspective, Roger knew Nixon far better than I, but I knew one thing. When Nixon was attacked by Washington Post, by the so-called Bernstein and Woodward team, what was not brought out to the forefront, and I had to bring it out subsequently, and I said it to Eagleberg at the time, was Woodward was not just simply a reporter, he had been part of naval intelligence. And the person he briefed in the Nixon administration and who briefed him in return was a man called Alexander Haig, or Colonel Haig at the time. So what you had, even at that point in time, in the 60s and 70s, is that Nixon was pinpointed by intelligence. The CIA was not a friend of Nixon's. Nixon knew that very well. Nixon had very much of the same traits that Trump did. Self-made man, a man who did not trust the establishment, did not like the Yaleys, did not like the Harvards, the Princetons, and all that nonsense. But he was at the mercy of Henry Kissinger and others who went to Harvard and Yale. He was called an anti-Semite. If it wasn't for Nixon, the state of Israel wouldn't be here today. Roger knows this better than I do, that literally Nixon gave Golda Meir all the planes she needed in the Six-Day War. Literally, our pilots flew into Tel Aviv, the IDF took it over, and they just went on to win the war. So what we have now is a recapitulation of what we had in the Nixon administration, a little bit of what we had in the Reagan administration, but this is very much what a revolution looks like in the 21st century. You happen to be the person that they can pick off most readily because you're in the press. They can mock you, they can laugh you, but the old saying goes, don't forget my name, and you can knock me in as many times as you want because your brand will continue to go up. When I read that article in the New York Times that you had 5 to 10 to 18 million listeners worldwide, I would like to see the compilation of all the newspapers and see what their subscription is. It doesn't come 1/10 to your subscription rate. So you will have support. You will not only have support from people like myself, you have support within the so-called deep government. So does Roger. The reason for that is the deep government needs an access point in order to get to the right, in order to go to the center. This was not something I made up. This was not something Nixon made up. It was an old strategy that we would come in from the right in order to get to the middle. Roger knew about it. Nixon knew about it. And it went on, and Kissinger knew about it. So what we have right now is an internal fight going on. What Maxine Waters says is not relevant. Nancy Pelosi's not relevant. Most of the people you hear on the radio and television coming from Congress are totally irrelevant. It's the ones you don't hear from, the ones who are quiet and silent and basically control the purse strings. Those are the ones that Trump has the closest relationship to, because you have to remember that McConnell's wife, Madam Cho, is a part of the administration. You also have to remember that we have now 3 military officers who will contain and constrain the administration in such a way that there will be no attempt for a counter coup. That's why the civilian intelligence in the CIA and elsewhere is very frightened. This is the first time we have had military officers, distinguished military officers, who have come to the forefront and said, you know what? I'm serving the administration not to get one more grade because they're all generals. It's not to get more money because they don't need it, but to save the republic and to make sure that we do not go to unnecessary wars and we no longer deplete our money source into irrelevant activities like war and other overseas activities that Obama did. Right now, fortunately, we're bringing back 4,000 of our troops in the National Guard from Djibouti. Did anyone in the Obama administration say to anyone in the United States that we had soldiers in Africa fighting in Somalia, Sudan, Ethiopia, and elsewhere? No. What happened was that Obama, as always, he kept it quiet. He was cryptic and devious. Yet no one has picked it up from the New York Times because they're afraid to talk about those kind of episodes. No one talked about the fact that we went into Libya without any preparation. It was the CIA, Panetta, and a whole group of others. And our own soldiers did not approve of that. The issue was that we had an offline situation in Libya. The ambassador had other issues at hand. And unfortunately, the episode occurred.
Steve,
but that
Steve.
I'm sorry, Ryan.
Steve, let me jump in here if I may. First of all, you are absolutely right about what happened under the agency, because of course I was there. You and I have compared notes. We come away with the same impression. This is a very key point. I recommend a book called Silent Coup by Leonard Kolodny, now out again publicly, which reveals that Bob Woodward has a long relationship with naval intelligence. It is actually Bill Sullivan who is talking to him through the entire Watergate affair and how he has suppressed this. I have a monograph coming out shortly, 5,000 words, entitled "The Many Lies of Robert Woodward," or Bob Woodward, pardon me, which
Right.
you'll be able to get online. It is extraordinary that the division that Steve describes in the agency is absolutely true. Here are the problems, though. Those who support liberty and freedom and the Alex Jones, Roger Stone libertarian right agenda of freedom and civil liberties are the grunts, the agents, the people at the middle and lower levels. The leadership is still an Obama-appointed clique of elitists, Ivy Leaguers, one-worlders, globalists. In the case of former Director Brennan, an active communist in the U.S. Communist Party politics of Gus Hall. And a man with an obvious weakness for radical Islam and Wahhabism. So that's where the leaking is happening. That is where the plan to take out Donald Trump is being executed. And the president has to be aware of how deep the hatred goes. They are leaking on General Flynn. They are leaking about the FISA court warrant against yours truly. to monitor. Steve, every conversation you and I have had, little men in the trailers have their headphones going. It's like a movie. It's so ridiculous. I'm sure it is somewhat more sophisticated these days.
Yeah. Well, this is incredible. I feel like this is incredible for me to be sandwiched in between the two of you guys, getting all of this back knowledge. And when we come back from the break, I mean, Millie and I are kind of sitting here and just sort of young in the game. To us, this is unprecedented. Watching the media and everyone calling our president Hitler, and the movie theaters around the country are going to be showing 1984 to protest the president, as if that's not the ultimate doublespeak that we were warned about in 1984. And we're kind of wondering, are they going to succeed? Will they succeed in this coup and taking out the president? I mean, they are full steam ahead, all cylinders firing, trying to convince the nation that he is the ultimate embodiment of Hitler reborn. And we just want to know, is he going to be successful? I want to remind everyone why we are here, why we've got Roger Stone here and Steve Pieczenik just dropping this wisdom, this knowledge, because we are under attack. InfoWars needs your support right now. We are listener supported. We always have been. And the globalists have succeeded in cutting off one of our supply lines, something that we use to reach millions of people across the internet every single day. They dropped us from ad roll. I know Roger Stone has also been attacked in that arena. They want to cut off our funding so that we cannot reach the masses and be as acceptable, I mean, as reachable as we have been. So we have this Defend InfoWars special going live right now at InfoWarsStore.com.
25% off Brain Force. Super Male Vitality, 25% off. Survival Shield X2, 25% off. Caveman, 33% off. These are amazing deals, folks. Silver Bullet, colloidal silver, 33% off.
We got the Donald J. Trump and Ronald Reagan lithographs, just $19.95. Free Alexa Pure with a 3-month InfoWars Select Storable Food Supply. And I really want to implore everyone out there. I know Alex is saying spread the link. Let everyone know that we are the people who the globalists are trying to silence. Spread the link. And I would also say take pictures with any of your products, the books that you buy at the InfoWars store, any of the InfoWars Life products that you use. We need to go on the defensive and you be our voice out there. You be our ad roll out there and take the pictures and just let people know how impressed you are with these products. Don't let them silence you by silencing us, by taking us off this ad roll. We're going to go ahead and just skip this break because I feel like this is too important, the information that we're getting right now from Roger Stone and Steve Pieczenik. I just want to know, do you guys, what can you tell those of us out here? This is sort of the first time we're really activated and loving what's going on in this country, and now we're just shocked to see people like Bill Kristol or come out and say, we believe in democracy, but I'd rather have a deep state than President Trump.
I know Bill Kristol. Bill Kristol is one of those Jewish neocons who is basically what we call a chicken hawk. A chicken hawk is somebody who can espouse all kinds of wars, but has personally made sure he never went into the draft. He is such a draft dodger, along with all the other neocons, Pearl, Wolfowitz, Salma Khalilzad, Hadley, that they have already been denigrated in terms of our part of the deep republic. Kristol has no idea what he's talking about. He's just a mouthpiece for Obama.
Let me jump in here, if I may, because I have a very friendly relationship with Bill. He's actually a very pleasant chap. Now, he voted for Hubert Humphrey. He comes from a long line of liberal Democrats. He seems to share the same foreign policy view of John McCain and his mini-me sidekick, Lindsey Graham, which is send troops first, ask questions later. But that said, we're in a very dangerous time here. Because you have this rogue element. They know that if the president cleans house at the agency, which is what they fear, and at this juncture, they're well aware that the only person in the building loyal to the chain of command of the president is the director. No one has been hired below him yet. These people are all Obama holdovers leaking like a sieve, and much information is not filtering down to the second and third-level agents and men and women who work conscientiously to protect their country. The same thing is true of the FBI. The leadership is heavily politicized and has their own agenda. The rank and file agents, the men and women protecting us, are patriotic Americans, and they don't know everything.
I agree with you, but here's one of the issues that is far more important that I've seen over the years, and so is the military. The CIA has recruited about 60 to 70% of the internal staff has been outsourced, either through Booz Allen, and you can see this with Edward Snowden. Snowden ostensibly came out of special forces. He broke his leg or whatever the nonsense story was. He came into the CIA, recruited by the CIA, then left the CIA, but came back as a contract player. The reason they do this in the CIA, why the CIA is bloated, highly expensive, and is not completely loyal to the United States, is very simple. They do not work directly for the CIA or the United States government. They usually work for an outsourcing contractor. For the most part, Booz Allen, L3, or any one of the other Blackwater associations. The military works specifically for the military. We have no outsourcing going on other than those that are given to civilians or people who want to protect the State Department. When Trump came in, there was a very clear message. We will decrease the size of the CIA, we will decrease the size of the State Department, and we will not spare anyone. I understand what you're saying about Bill Kristol. I've never had that attitude toward him. I find him quite despicable, as I do most of the neocons.
I find his politics despicable.
Well, I find him
as an American citizen who was basically called a lazy American, and that shouldn't we be happy to be replaced with the new illegal immigrants coming in the country. I find that remark by him despicable, and to just put it out there that that's the plan of the globalists to replace all of us lazy Americans and people who actually want to fight for this country and believe in liberty and freedom and actually give a crap about the Constitution.
Let me tell you one thing. The notion of globalism is dying on the vine. I said it years ago, and I'm saying it again. Brexit came out of the Trump movement. Another major movement that initiated the European Union was France. And what is happening to France? They've been occupied by Muslims. The immigration issue is so grand that Madame Le Pen from the extreme right will probably be the next president of France. She will then initiate Article 50 to withdraw from the EU. Once France withdraws from the EU, Germany will then have to deal with Greece, Italy, Spain, and you've got a basket case. So in fact, what's happened is globalism is dying on the vine. Don't give them more credit than they need. They're falling apart. That's why Putin can come in and try to help them out. But Putin is in financial trouble. China is in financial trouble. The only country which is not in financial trouble is the United States. We have now gone to the IMF, thanks to Mnuchin, and basically said to Lagarde and to the director of the IMF and the World Bank, realign your currency rates so that the dollar reflects correctly how we can do trade and don't artificially pump us up so that we cannot do trade. So Trump is working on many, many different levels. Unfortunately, that's not brought out. And most people in the New York Times have no idea what we're talking about. Right. That's why Alex Jones, that's why Roger, that's why you ladies are extremely important to what's happening. This is a revolution.
Right. And what you just said about France is really key, because we've reported about how George Soros and these other groups are actually now working with internet giants to be able to stop what happened here in the United States with the unprecedented election of Donald Trump. They want to stop that from happening in France. So they're already trying to stop access to information. And InfoWars is the place where people, French citizens, can come here and get accurate information about what's going on in their country, or Swedish citizens, of course, because it's they're silenced in their own country.
Exactly. And, you know, I have a question for you guys, because we've seen how, you know, the mainstream media has done a really good job getting everybody so caught up on these other issues and the whole Trump having to defend himself over these Russian allegations. Yet, you know, we kind of have lost track of going after Hillary and really putting her behind bars. If anybody should be being, you know, investigated or a judge allowing them to spy on, it would be Hillary Clinton, not somebody like Roger Stone, who hasn't really done anything to warrant that type of a an invasion on their privacy. But this is my question. What do you guys think about the potential coup that we could be seeing on, Donald Trump at this time? And what do you think about, Flynn and the timeliness of his resignation juxtaposed with now InfoWars being attacked and Milo Yiannopoulos being, having to be kind of resigned from Breitbart? What do you think about all of this happening all at once, and what kind of vulnerability does that make?
What an excellent question. I can't believe you just asked that. Oh, Millie Weaver with the 1-2 punch there. We actually are about to go to break here in about 30 seconds. I know Paul Joseph Watson is going to be joining us on the flip side. I'm not sure if you guys can stick around to answer that question or if we'll have Paul right away. But anyone else who, if you want to continue on with this conversation, Infowars.com/show. Thank you so much, Roger Stone and Steve Pieczenik. We will catch you guys here on the flip side. Stick around. We'll be